area. Due to the large number of candidates, this joint exam was divided into 5 exam areas, with 5 chief examiners taking attendance and entering the simulated battlefield through different simulation pod ports. Su Jintang was in area number 1. After confirming the direction of exam area number 1, she hurriedly turned around and continued running. Sister launching, wait for me. Wei Zixuan's voice came from behind, also late. Su Jintang didn't have time to turn around. Wait for what? Hurry up. The two sprinted towards exam area number 1. Finally, 2 minutes later, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan arrived outside examination area number 1. The two quickly explained the situation, and the invigilator looked them up and down. You two are really something, daring to be late for the joint exam. Luckily, it's not too late, but your names have already been called. You can't cut in line now. You have to wait until all the candidates in this exam area have entered before it's your turn. Su Jintang breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, that's fine. As long as they can still participate in the joint exam, that's good. Wei Zixuan also patted his chest, starting to catch his breath. Su Jintang thought of something. By the way, is Duoduo awake yet? She turned to look at Wei Zixuan. Wei Zixuan gave her a reassuring look. I called her when I left, and she's awake. Su Jintang lowered her head and rubbed her temples. From now on, you absolutely can't touch alcohol before serious matters. Yes, we can't touch it again. Wei Zixuan quickly replied. After waiting for nearly an hour, the candidates at the front of the line finally finished their roll call, and all entered the simulated battlefield exam area. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan were led into the examination area by the invigilators. Zhuang Silin looked them over teasingly. You two have some nerve to be late for the joint exam. Su Jintang forced a smile. Teacher Zhuang, we were delayed by something. It was definitely not intentional. Wei Zixuan didn't dare to speak, only nodding frantically. Alright, that's enough time. Zhuang Silin ticked their names, then pointed to the simulated battlefield examination area behind them. Go in. As punishment for being late, you two will enter an hour later than the first 10 candidates. As for the other joint exam rules, you have to discover them yourselves once you're inside. The sooner they enter the simulated battlefield, the sooner they can gather information and make more plans. Originally, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan had ranked in the top 10 in the supplementary assessment, qualifying them to be among the first to enter the examination hall. However, due to their lateness, they were now an hour behind. With the help of the invigilators, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan put on their access computers, closed their eyes, and their consciousness slowly entered the simulated examination battlefield. A familiar feeling of weightlessness followed. After a few seconds of darkness, a light source appeared before them. Su Jintang slowly opened her eyes. Wei Zixuan was no longer around. They had likely been randomly teleported to another area. She was surrounded by a lush forest, with the occasional roar of a ferocious beast echoing from the distant mountains. Birds and beasts occasionally flew overhead, emitting ethereal cries. She quickly realized that this was the Death Forest, frequently mentioned in textbooks. Besides the Blizzard Forest, which had been sealed off, there were hundreds, even thousands, of forest areas in various star systems, inhabited by all kinds of interstellar monsters. The Death Forest, because it covered the largest area, had the most diverse number of monsters, and thus posed the greatest danger, was named the Death Forest. Just then, a broadcast suddenly rang out from the horizon. Congratulations to candidate Yu Wanyao for successfully ranking first. The joint examination ranking will change soon. Congratulations to candidate Yu Wanyao for ranking first. Congratulations to the candidate. The broadcast repeated 3 times before stopping. At the same time, the joint examination ranking screen standing in the safe zone changed. Yu Wanyao's name, previously ranked second, flashed red, instantly jumping to first place. The joint examination ranking was semi-transparent, hanging at the entrance to the safe zone, allowing all candidates entering and exiting to clearly see the rankings. A candidate, who had just been teleported to the vicinity of the safe zone, saw this, and widened their eyes slightly. She's already in first place so quickly. The people on the joint examination ranking are definitely not simple. Chapter 27. Su Jintang clicked her tongue. This announcement was far too ostentatious. It was fine if one's ranking improved, but anyone pushed down from a high position would feel somewhat uncomfortable. This was clearly just inviting hatred. Now that she thought about it, being late was actually a good thing. Because she was late, she entered the examination hall later than the other candidates, but because of this, no one knew what she looked like. This way, she could continue using her identity as Su Launching. Su Jintang didn't dwell on it further. She activated her domain power, spreading its detection effect around her. After confirming there was no danger nearby, she lightened her steps and slowly probed the surrounding area. After walking for a long time, just as she was about to stop and rest, a first-tier demonic beast pounced on her without thinking. Her eyes quickly turned cold, and she raised her hand to activate the ruby sleeve arrows. Several arrows encased in flames pierced towards the beast. The power of the domain instantly enveloped the entire area. The demonic beast, had no chance to resist before being shot down by a hail of arrows. After the demonic beast fell, a faint light emanated from its body, followed by a slowly rising orb of light floating above its corpse. Su Jintang got up and walked over, reaching out to touch the orb of light. Points plus 10. Total points. 230. A text prompt appeared on a light screen before her eyes. The orb of light transformed into countless tiny specks of light, rapidly flowing into the points token on Su Jintang's waist. Only then did Su Jintang notice that a jade token had appeared on her waist. Connecting this to the points notification, she quickly realized what the joint examination rules were. Hunting demonic beasts earned points, so these points were undoubtedly the key factor determining her ranking. Yuan Yao just jumped from second to first place, probably because she hunted demonic beasts and gained points, causing the ranking change. I see, Su Jintang muttered, stroking her chin. A first-tier demonic beast only gives 10 points? That's too few. I wonder if second-tier demonic beasts give more points. Su Jintang thought of something else, and tried to put her points jade token into her bracelet space. But she failed. So, the points jade token could only be worn on her person. That's dangerous. What if someone with ill intentions tries to steal her points jade token? She quickly realized something else. Besides hunting demonic beasts, she could also gain points by stealing points from other examinees. After understanding the joint examination rules, Su Jintang stopped wandering around and started hunting demonic beasts on the spot. In just a few hours, she hunted 6 first-tier demonic beasts, gaining another 60 points. Su Jintang, immersed in battle all afternoon, reaped a rich harvest. After slaying several more demonic beasts, the setting sun gradually sank below the horizon, and night began to fall. It was getting late, so Su Jintang stopped her hunt. The forest was most dangerous at night. She needed to find a safe place to spend the night as soon as possible. Launching, what a coincidence. We met again. A joyful voice came from behind. Su Jintang was startled for a moment, then quickly recognized Li Tongfu's voice. She forced a smile, turned around, and sure enough, saw Li Tongfu leading a group of people towards her. The group, led by Li Tongfu, consisted of 7 people, all unfamiliar faces. Launching, I recognized your back from afar. It's only been 2 days since we last met, and I didn't expect to run into you again so soon at the joint entrance exam. Li Tongfu walked over and patted Su Jintang on the shoulder. Su Jintang smiled. Yes, what a coincidence. Brotherly, what's this? She cautiously glanced at the group behind Li Tongfu. Li Tongfu quickly explained, Don't be afraid, these are all new friends I met. We're planning to travel together. After all, spending the night alone is quite dangerous. Many hands make light work. Why don't you join us? While Su Jintang was observing the group, they were also watching her closely. Both sides seemed very cautious. After a moment's thought, Su Jintang smiled. Of course. I was just worried about how I managed to spend the night alone. Visibility was poor in the forest at night, and people would tire and become drowsy. Some monsters were most likely to attack at this time, making spending the night alone indeed dangerous. That's great. Our team has gained a new member. Li Tongfu immediately turned around and began introducing Su Jintang to his new companions. Upon learning that Su Jintang was just a candidate from a lower-level star region, their wariness lessened slightly. Li Tongfu turned around and asked warmly, launching, Did you get separated from Tang Yo? Su Jintang nodded, Yes, we haven't run into him since we came in. It's alright, you can stay with us for now, it'd be safe. Li Tongfu patted his chest heartily. A little while later, everyone went to find some branches and wood and started a fire. A faint light rose from the fire, dispelling the surrounding darkness. Su Jintang warmed her hands by the fire, and soon felt warm. Launching, tonight the 8 of us will take turns on watch, 2 people per group, for groups rotating. You and I are on the same team. We keep watch for 2 hours, then go find the next group to relieve us. Li Tongfu leaned closer, warming his hands by the fire. Okay. Su Jintang nodded. The night watch was boring. Su Jintang rested her chin on her hand, idly gazing at the night sky and counting stars. Blue Star Sister, since no one's around, I have a few important things to tell you. Li Tongfu lowered his voice. Su Jintang turned her head. Brotherly, please speak. Li Tongfu, you should already know the joint examination rules about gaining points by hunting monsters, right? Su Jintang nodded. Yes. I tell you, actually, there's another hidden rule. Li Tongfu looked around, and seeing no one was around, continued in a low voice. Examinees can also steal points from each other. Su Jintang had long since figured out the rules, and wasn't too surprised, but she still feigned surprise. Brotherly, you mean? Li Tongfu, if you're separated from us in the future and encounter unfamiliar examinees, be very careful. The joint exam has only just begun, and examinees don't have many points yet, so the competition isn't too fierce. But in the later days, almost every examinee will have a considerable number of points, and things won't be as peaceful as they are now. Killing a level 1 demon beast painstakingly only yields 10 points. But if you compete with other examinees, even one of them will have at least 100 points. Comparatively, stealing points from examinees is definitely more efficient. Understood. Thank you for the reminder, brotherly. Su Jintang nodded in agreement. However, she also became more wary. Whether brotherly was genuinely kind-hearted or simply trying to gain her trust remained to be seen. Little sister launching, are you sleepy? Why don't you go to sleep? I can keep watch by myself, Li Tongfu said with concern. Su Jintang shook her head, dispelling the drowsiness in her mind. No need, I can switch shifts in another hour. Li Tongfu smiled helplessly, got up, and pushed Su Jintang towards the tents. You should go and rest. There's only 1 hour left. I can manage by myself. These 2 tents were brought in by Li Tongfu from his bracelet space. They were spacious enough to accommodate 8 or 9 people sleeping together, with different sleeping bags inside. The 2 tents were just right for the boys and girls to sleep separately, one for the girls and one for the boys. Sensing Li Tongfu's desire for her to rest, Su Jintang didn't insist further and nodded in agreement. Then I go to sleep first. Thank you for keeping watch by yourself, brotherly. With that, she lifted the tent flap and stepped inside. Inside the girls' tent, all 3 were fast asleep. The noise Su Jintang made when she entered the tent went unnoticed. She found a sleeping bag, crouched down beside it, and silently observed the 3 sleeping figures. Although someone was keeping watch, this was, after all, the wilderness teeming with demonic beasts, so everyone was generally somewhat vigilant and wouldn't sleep too soundly. Su Jintang pursed her lips, quickly realizing something was wrong. She subtly activated her mental energy, and the detection power of her domain rapidly expanded outwards, perfectly encompassing both tents within its range. She saw Li Tongfu sneakily enter the adjacent boy's tent. He bent over, tiptoed to one of his teammates, carefully picked up that teammate's points jade token, and then swiped it on his own. Immediately, a smile appeared on Li Tongfu's face as he crushed the jade token. His still sleeping teammate slowly disappeared into the tent. In the mock exam battlefield, to eliminate a candidate, one way was to kill them, and another was to crush their point token. Su Jintang frowned, her eyes gradually turning cold. She pulled over a sleeping bag, closed her eyes, and leaned against it, pretending to be asleep. Blue Star sister? Are you asleep? After stealing points from the next tent, Li Tongfu went to the girl's tent. Su Jintang didn't answer. A moment later, a rustling sound was heard. It was Li Tongfu lifting the tent flap and entering. He bent over, and as before, stole points from each candidate one by one, then crushed their jade tokens. He finally approached Su Jintang. Sister Launching, I'm sorry, it's all because you're all so naive. Li Tongfu's tone carried a hint of smugness and helplessness. He reached out to take the points jade token from Su Jintang's waist, but his entire body suddenly froze for a moment, his movements slowing to a beat. Li Tongfu was stunned, not yet understanding what was happening. At this moment, Su Jintang opened her eyes, a cold glint flashing in them. She immediately grabbed Li Tongfu's neck. Brotherly, you really put on a good show during the day. Li Tongfu then realized he had already been exposed. He sneered, that's also because you're all too stupid. With that, he immediately activated his supernatural power, preparing to break free. Su Jintang didn't give him a chance to resist, using force to deliver a powerful over-the-shoulder throw, pinning him to the ground. Realizing he couldn't budge Su Jintang's strength, a hint of panic crossed Li Tongfu's face. How could this brat be so good at close combat? Half a minute later, Su Jintang had bound Li Tongfu's hands and feet together. Little sister Launching, how about we split the points of these 6 people equally? Don't worry, we continue doing this together, and we'd definitely be able to scam a lot more points. Li Tongfu realized he'd run into a tough opponent and could only beg for mercy. Su Jintang ignored him, directly taking the points jade token from his waist and swiping it on her own. Points plus 370. Total points, 750. At the same time, a region-wide announcement slowly rose in the quiet night. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for successfully ranking 6th on the list. The joint examination red list will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for successfully ranking. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang. The 3 notification sounds woke many sleeping candidates, who all looked up at the sky. Even in the pitch-black safe zone, the joint entrance exam ranking list still hung high. Su Jintang's name flashed red, soaring to 6th place. Upon hearing the announcement, Li Tongfu's eyes widened in shock, his voice stammering, You lied to me. You're not Su Launching at all, you're actually Su Jintang. Su Jintang's gaze turned cold, and she crushed Li Tongfu's points token. The next second, Li Tongfu's figure slowly disappeared from sight. This kind of swindler, who even ambushed his teammates in the middle of the night, doesn't deserve sympathy. Su Jintang hung her points token back on her waist, glancing back at the 2 empty tents. She waved her hand, storing both tents into her bracelet storage space. She then turned and quietly left the scene. The night was still long, and Su Jintang was alone. She didn't dare openly take out her tent to sleep. After thinking for a moment, she found a tree, climbed to the top in a few strides, leaned against a thick branch, and slowly closed her eyes, preparing to doze off for a while. Few demonic beasts could fly, so sleeping at a high place was relatively safe. Meanwhile, in the safe zone camp, Wei Zixuan looked up in shock at the revised rankings on the joint examination red list. Sister Jean Tang is so amazing. She's already moved up 3 places on the first day. He had searched the death forest before finding the safe zone. This was the only safe zone in the entire battlefield. Fighting among examinees was strictly prohibited here, and no demonic beasts would accidentally enter. There were also supply shops selling food and drinks, making it the best choice for spending the night. Besides him, there were many other examinees in the camp. These people had all fallen asleep, but were all awakened at the same time by the broadcast. Unable to sleep, the group began whispering, "Just who is Su Jean Tang? She jumped to 6th place in just one day. To rise from 9th to 6th, that requires at least several hundred points. It's already dark. How could she possibly be hunting monsters? Su Jean Tang must have stolen points from other examinees. Everyone was sleeping at night, but she sneaked off to steal points. How despicable. Everyone must be careful in the future. It's only the first day of the joint exam. If we get eliminated early, it's all over." Wei Zixuan heard all these whispers. He frowned. Sister Jean Tang isn't the type to ambush. There must be some misunderstanding. The 5 people watching the exam, including Zhuang Silin, fell silent. They certainly disapproved of Li Tongfu's point-stealing behavior. They thought Su Jintang's counter-stealing was quite normal. But they didn't expect the other examinees to misunderstand. Interesting. This year's candidates are all surprising me more than the last. Some even tried to steal points in the middle of the night, but their skills weren't up to par, and they got robbed instead. Sure, Lekong pulled out a folding fan from somewhere, fanning himself as he remarked. Zhuang Silin shook her head, got up to rest. "It's getting late. I'm going to sleep now. We see tomorrow." The other 3 military academy teachers nodded in agreement. "Teacher, sure, we go back and rest too." Watching the other teachers leave one by one, leaving only himself in the room, Sure Lekong silently fanned himself, then, finding it pointless, also got up and left the room. Chapter 28. The fog in the death forest grew even thicker in the dead of night. The night passed peacefully. The next morning, the sun shone brightly, dispelling the fog. Su Jintang rubbed her aching neck and opened her eyes. She clapped her hands and leaped down from the tree. "Who? Who is it?" A startled cry came from not far away. Su Jintang turned her head and quickly saw the girl. The girl looked terrified and extremely wary. Su Jintang raised her hands, a smile on her face. "I'm just going down a tree." The girl immediately produced a short sword, her expression tense as she stared at Su Jintang. "Don't come any closer. I don't have many points." Su Jintang remained rooted to the spot, her smile continuing. "I'm not after points, I just want to ask for directions. Are there any supply points or safe zones nearby?" She hadn't eaten all day and hadn't slept well, so she was exhausted and just wanted to find a quiet place to rest. The girl hesitated for a moment, and seeing that Su Jintang clearly had no intention of attacking, she pointed in a direction. "Go 1 kilometer east, there's a safe zone." "Okay, thank you." Su Jintang, thinking of something, asked again, "One last question, why are you so wary? Are you afraid of having your points stolen? Did someone already start stealing them yesterday?" The girl said coldly, "Didn't you hear Su Jintang's announcement yesterday?" Her ranking suddenly jumped to 6th in the middle of the night. Everyone was asleep then. She must have ambushed someone and stolen their points. With her doing this, other capable candidates will definitely be eager to try their luck. Anyway, the joint entrance exams won't be peaceful anymore. Su Jintang was silent for a moment. So it was because of her influence. "Thank you, then I head to the safe zone first." Su Jintang smiled and turned to walk east. A long queue had already formed at the supply store in the safe zone, with no sign of the end of the line. Su Jintang was startled when she entered. "So many people. Sister launching, sister launching." A cautious voice sounded from behind. Su Jintang turned around and saw Wei Zixuan cowering behind a stone pillar not far away, beckoning to her. Su Jintang turned and walked towards him. "What's wrong? What are you doing hiding over there?" Wei Zixuan swallowed hard and quickly pulled her to a secluded corner. "Sister, what did you do last night?" Wei Zixuan asked anxiously. Su Jintang quickly recounted what had happened the previous night. Wei Zixuan slapped his thigh. "I knew it. Just like I thought, you definitely wouldn't have done something like ambushing someone." Before coming, Su Jintang had learned from the girl about the misunderstanding, and she quickly realized, "So, many people in the safe zone misunderstood me as the one who ambushed you last night." Wei Zixuan nodded. "Now many people are trembling with fear, afraid of being robbed as soon as they leave the safe zone. I plan to queue up later to buy more supplies to stock up on, and try to go back to the safe zone as little as possible." Su Jintang thought for a moment. "How are the supplies sold here?" "They're purchased with points." 10 points can buy a bottle of nutrient solution. There are also survival supplies, like camping tents, which are more expensive. Su Jintang stroked his chin. Buying supplies was another expense. His points were definitely not enough. Seeing the growing queue at the supply shop, Wei Zixuan quickly said, "Sis, let's join the queue first." Okay. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan discreetly joined the end of the line. While waiting, Su Jintang suddenly thought, a Tier 1 monster only gets 10 points. What about a Tier 2? Wei Zixuan immediately replied, yesterday, a team in the safe zone hunted a Tier 2 monster together, earning a total of 100 points. After splitting the points among the 5 people, each person gets 20 points. Su Jintang nodded. Sure enough, the higher the level of the monster, the more points it's worth. If it were a Tier 3 monster, the number of points would definitely be even higher, maybe even 1,000. They needed to think of a way to make a big splash. Soon, it was Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan's turn to buy supplies. They each bought 4 bottles of nutrient solution, and then quietly left the safe zone. Speaking of which, Li Tongfu deserved it. I thought he was a good person because he seemed so helpful, but he showed his true colors right at the start of the joint entrance exam. Luckily you were on your guard, Wei Zixuan said, only daring to bring up Li Tongfu after leaving the safe zone. Su Jintang said calmly, overly enthusiastic, either trying to sell you something or trying to scam you. Wei Zixuan nodded in agreement, that makes sense. I'd be more vigilant and avoid scams from now on. After leaving the safe zone, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan began hunting monsters everywhere. First-tier monsters were everywhere, but second-tier monsters were much fewer in number. Points plus 10. Points plus 10. Total points, 620. Watching the slowly increasing points, Su Jintang stopped and turned to Wei Zixuan, killing them one by one like this is too slow for points. Wei Zixuan hesitated for a moment, then let's find some second-tier demonic beasts. If we team up, we should be able to handle them. After absorbing the dragon's essence blood, Su Jintang's strength had doubled. Wei Zixuan's ability could at least summon first-tier demonic beasts to fight. Together, they weren't weak. After thinking it over, Wei Zixuan nodded, that's true. We've been killing first-tier demonic beasts all morning and haven't even earned 100 points. Second-tier demonic beasts are much more efficient. Having made their decision, the two immediately set off, heading deeper into the forest. The further they went, the quieter it became. Su Jintang activated her domain's detection effect and was the first to enter the forest, her footsteps crunching on the fallen leaves. Sister, this should already be the habitat of second-tier demonic beasts, Wei Zixuan whispered a reminder. Su Jintang stopped. We walked for so long and haven't encountered a single second-tier demonic beast. We might have accidentally wandered into the territory of an alpha demonic beast. Demonic beasts possess territorial instincts. Some stronger demonic beasts will actively mark out a territory, leaving their scent markers to warn unfamiliar beasts. Weaker demonic beasts, upon smelling the scent markers, will try to avoid entering that territory. Wei Zixuan's voice held a hint of tension. A demonic beast with a territory must be at least at the peak of the second tier. If it's stronger, then it's third tier. Can the two of us handle it? Su Jintang pondered for a moment, then took out the second-tier teleportation rune she had saved up to buy from her spatial bracelet and handed it to Wei Zixuan. Go test the beast's strength first. If you can't beat it, run. A teleportation inscription? Wei Zixuan recognized the inscription talisman in his hand, his eyes lighting up. That's right, we can use inscriptions. But inscriptions are too easily consumed. I haven't stockpiled many. A single level 1 inscription can sell for 300 or 400 star coins, and these things are all one-time use. Once used, they're gone. Except for the wealthy, no one can use them indefinitely. Most people buy inscriptions to enhance their magical weapons. It's okay, use mine, I have plenty. With that, Su Jintang continued to activate her domain ability, scouting ahead. Wei Zixuan hesitated for a moment, then accepted the inscription. Thanks, sister. I transfer the money to you after the joint exam. The two continued walking, and after a while, Su Jintang stopped. It should be a peak second-tier demon beast. My ability is ineffective against it. I can't detect its exact location or aura. It's alright, let me handle this. Wei Zixuan immediately stepped forward, raising his hand in a mysterious gesture, a serious look in his eyes. Stone gate open. As the words fell, a 2-meter-high stone gate slowly appeared before Wei Zixuan. Then, the stone gate opened, revealing a black vortex within, seemingly leading to the end of the world, exuding a sense of mystery. Immediately afterwards, the second-tier demonic beast, the silver-light black-feathered bear, slowly emerged from it. Its fur was smooth and glossy, shimmering slightly silver in the sunlight. With each stomp, the surrounding ground trembled slightly, kicking up a cloud of dust. Great, it's a second-tier demonic beast, Wei Zixuan explained in relief. Su Jintang knew that the level of the demonic beast summoned by his ability was not fixed each time. Fortunately, they were lucky. Let's go find that Lord-level demonic beast. Several attack runes instantly appeared in Su Jintang's palm. Before this joint examination, she had stockpiled over 100 runes, including attack runes, teleportation runes, and mental power amplification runes, enough for her to use for a long time. A few minutes later, Su Jintang single-handedly stormed into the Lord-level demonic beast's lair. The Lord-level demonic beast was a peak second-tier demonic beast, the poison scale fox. Its eyes glowed green, revealing a shrewdness similar to humans. Its sharp claws gleamed coldly, and each attack was so agile it left after images. After exchanging a few blows, Su Jintang decisively withdrew and quickly turned to run away. The poison scale fox let out a sharp cry and angrily chased after Su Jintang. Su Jintang reached the cave entrance first. She stopped, turned around, and formed dozens of attack runes. The moment the poison scale fox emerged, she crushed all the runes. Dozens of energy blades materialized instantly, flying towards the poison scale fox. Wei Zixuan and the silver light black feather bear, who had been guarding outside, also stepped forward simultaneously. The dozens of energy blades formed an encirclement, trapping the poison scale fox layer by layer. One or two energy blades couldn't harm the poison scale fox, but the continuous barrage of dozens of energy blades was too much for its thick hide to withstand. Each time it dodged, it was struck by an energy blade from the other side. Within seconds, the poison scale fox was covered in wounds. Black Feather Bear attacked the poison scale fox. At the command, the Black Feather Bear pounced forward in a few swift movements, its heavy paw slamming down on the poison scale fox. The poison scale fox had no time to react and was knocked to the ground. It howled, its tail drooping to the ground. Bright red blood seeped from its wounds, staining its grayish-white fur with patches of red. Seeing that it had lost its attack power, Su Jintang stepped forward, ready to finish it off. But then, an unexpected turn of events occurred. A massive axe flew from the horizon, embedding itself diagonally in front of the poison scale fox. Su Jintang swiftly dodged to the side, turning around with a cold expression as he looked behind him. At that moment, the black feather bear summoned by Wei Zixuan also reached its time limit, its figure slowly disappearing. He rushed to Su Jintang's side. What happened? From the direction from which the giant axe had flown, a group of figures slowly appeared. Leading them was a tall, muscular boy with thick, defined arms and a robust physique, sporting a full beard. Compared to the other teenagers among the examinees, this person appeared far too mature. Gentlemen, our team searched for ages before finally finding this peak stage second-tier poison scale fox. As the saying goes, whoever finds it gets a share, so how about we split the points for this poison scale fox equally? Yang Tuo strode over, his tone laced with threat. Su Jintang glanced at the group opposite her. There were 6 people in total. The boy in the lead smiled calmly, while the others assumed fighting stances, clearly intending to use their numbers to try and steal the points from the poison scale fox. Big brother, we found this poison scale fox first, and it took us a lot of effort to severely injure it. You didn't contribute anything, so why should we split the points? Wei Zixuan's face turned green with anger as he glared at Yang Tuo and retorted. Yang Tuo sneered, immediately raising his hand and summoning the giant axe stuck in the ground back into his grasp. Because I'm a second-tier ability user, 8th on the joint entrance exams honor roll, Yang Tuo. Wei Zixuan was stunned for a moment, then hurriedly tried to retort. So what if we're 8th? We? Tainyo. Su Jintang raised her hand to stop him, shaking her head at him. Wei Zixuan hesitated for a moment before shutting his mouth and retreating behind Su Jintang. A cold glint flashed in Su Jintang's eyes, but when she looked up, only a smile remained on her face. So it's the famous brother Yang? I heard so much about you. My brother was rude just now. I apologize on his behalf. The older sister is more sensible. Yang Tuo curled his lips, sizing up Su Jintang. All right, ignorance is no excuse. I pretend what happened just now didn't happen. With that, Yang Tuo waved his hand. The 5 people behind him then lowered their fighting stances. Then, as brother Yang just said, we split the poison scale fox's points equally. Su Jintang took a step back first. After killing the poison scale fox, a ball of light slowly rose from its body. Su Jintang stepped forward and collected the points. Points plus 200. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. This poisonous fox has a total of 200 points. Including Yang Ge and the other 6, there are 8 of us. Let's divide it equally, 20 points each. The remaining 40 points will go to Yang Ge alone. How does that sound? The faces of the people behind Yang Tuo darkened. One of them whispered in Yang Tuo's ear, Yang Ge, we have more people than them. Why don't we just eliminate them and split all the points among the 6 of us? Wouldn't that be better? Clearly, none of them wanted to share the points with Su Jintang and her brother. Yang Tuo raised his hand, stopping him from speaking further. His face showed interest as he looked at Su Jintang. Okay, that's how it be divided. But you 2 siblings have benefited from this. For the next few days, you have to come with me. Because of his precocious appearance and menacing look, Yang Tuo wasn't very popular with girls his age, Some girls were even frightened to tears by him. The brother and sister before him? The sister seemed quite attractive and capable. If he could win her over and make her his girlfriend, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? The teammates, sensing Yang Tuo's thoughts, exchanged glances and then stepped back in silence. Su Jintang pretended to be oblivious, silently distributing the points equally among the others. After distributing the points, Wei Zixuan couldn't resist pulling her aside and whispering, "Are we just going to let them ride roughshod over us like this?" Su Jintang glanced discreetly at Yang Tuo and the others behind her. "I teach you another lesson today. Greed for small gains will lead to big losses. You cooperate with me later." Chapter 29. After dealing with the poisonous scale fox, Su Jintang and his companion went with the team to hunt 2 more second-tier demonic beasts. With Yang Tuo, a second-tier ability user, present, the hunting went very smoothly. Su Jintang and his companion also managed to collect 2 more rounds of points. It was still early, and Yang Tuo checked the time, deciding, "Everyone, speed things up. We need to kill as many as possible." At this moment, Su Jintang suddenly interjected, "Brother Yang, hunting second-tier demonic beasts for points is too slow. An ordinary second-tier demonic beast only gives about 100 points, and even a peak second-tier beast only gets 200 points. But there are 8 of us, so the average number of points each person gets isn't much." The underling following behind Yang Tuo immediately retorted disdainfully, "If it weren't for you 2 being a burden, the 6 of us could get even more." Clearly, these people were quite resistant to Su Jintang and his companion slacking off in the team. When they were hunting those 2 demonic beasts, Su Jintang stayed hidden to the side, deliberately not contributing much, and Wei Zixuan did the same. They all saw it. Yang Tuo raised his hand, interrupting his underlings. "All right, Lan Xing and her brother are the ones I want to recruit into the team. If you have any complaints, come at me." Hearing this, the underlings naturally dared not say anything more, and they all shut their mouths in frustration. Yang Tuo smiled and approached Su Jintang. "Lan Xing, as you said, hunting demonic beasts with 8 of us is too inefficient. Do you have any solutions?" Su Jintang looked at him with a feigned smile. "How about we hunt 3rd-tier demonic beasts? With Brother Yang here, plus the cooperation of the rest of us, dealing with 3rd-tier demonic beasts will be more than enough." Yang Tuo's smile faded, replaced by caution. "3rd-tier demonic beasts aren't as simple as you think. It's not just about numbers. Brother Yang, what are you afraid of? With me and my sister here, we're at least half your strength, plus your 5 teammates. The 8 of us can definitely hunt down a 3rd-tier demonic beast." Wei Zixuan, who had been mostly silent, suddenly chimed in. Yang Tuo hesitated. Su Jintang seized the opportunity. "I bet the 3rd-tier demonic beast's points are over 1,000. If it's that many, we can each take 100 points, leaving 300 for you, Brother Yang. Maybe you can even climb a few more places on the joint exam's honor roll." This hit the nail on the head. Yang Tuo pursed his lips, lost in thought. He was originally ranked 7th on the joint exam's honor roll, but then Su Jintang suddenly jumped to 6th, pushing him down. After a busy day, he had accumulated quite a few points, but his ranking remained unchanged. He figured the other top scorers on the joint entrance exam list were also busy hunting monsters to earn points. Therefore, if he wanted to improve his ranking, he would have to take some shortcuts. Blue Star is right. Since we still have most of the day left, why don't we try hunting 3rd-tier monsters? Yang Tuo decided. His underlings behind him immediately objected. "Brother Yang, aren't 3rd-tier monsters too dangerous? What if we're all eliminated early?" "Yeah, don't listen to these siblings. They're doing it on purpose, deliberately making us hunt 3rd-tier monsters so they can wipe us out." Su Jintang stood innocently to the side. "I didn't mean that. I genuinely want our team to be more efficient. Besides, my brother and I will go too. If we're wiped out, we die together. How could we joke about our own lives?" Hearing this, Yang Tuo nodded. "I said we could try first. If we really can't win, we can still run away. We won't end up being wiped out. After all, he was a 2nd-tier ability user. He definitely had a way to escape." Seeing that Yang Tuo was determined, the others knew that no amount of persuasion would work, so they could only remain silent. A few minutes later, Su Jintang and his group continued to venture deeper into the forest, searching for traces of the 3rd-tier demonic beast. Congratulations to candidate Sha Wenshu for successfully ranking 8th on the joint examination red list. The list will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate Sha Wenshu. The broadcast continued for 3 more times before stopping. Yang Tuo's brows furrowed instantly, and his voice became urgent. "Hurry, we must find the 3rd-tier demonic beast immediately." His ranking had already been pushed down. Reaching 9th place, if he slowed any further, he might be squeezed out of the joint entrance exam's honor roll, and a sudden anxiety gripped him. Su Jintang silently smiled and continued to follow at the back of the group deeper into the forest. About 15 minutes later, near a stream, they finally spotted a 3rd-tier demonic beast, the Mantis Electric Feather Beast. Its side-shaped forelimbs were raised in front of its head, and upon sensing an outsider entering its territory, it immediately became highly alert. A faint arc of electricity coiled around its body, crackling intermittently. Everyone prepare for battle. Yang Tuo's eyes flashed with fighting spirit as he quickly summoned his superpowered giant axe. The mantis electric feather beast sensed the danger and swiftly extended its forelimbs, charging towards them. The battle erupted instantly. Yang Tuo led his henchmen to the front lines. While no one was watching, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan quietly retreated to the sidelines, ready to watch the show. Launching, what are you two doing? Come help us! After several rounds of fighting and finding himself struggling, Yang Tuo finally noticed Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan standing motionless behind him. The others angrily shouted, Brother Yang, I knew these two were up to something. They deliberately lured us here to kill a third-tier demonic beast. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan exchanged a glance, then calmly remained outside the battle, continuing to watch. Yang Tuo's face darkened instantly with anger. They dared to play me. He immediately turned to charge at Su Jintang, but the mantis electric feather beast clearly wouldn't let him go, immediately attacking his back. Yang Tuo had no choice but to defend, turning back to continue fighting the mantis electric feather beast. The combat power unleashed by a third-tier demonic beast was completely beyond what the group could withstand. Soon, Yang Tuo and his group of 6 were unable to resist, their bodies slashed by the mantis's scythes. By this time, Yang Tuo had no energy left to be angry, and could only plead, Sister Launching, Brother Tinu, we were wrong before. You two, please help us. If we work together to kill this mantis beast, you get the lion's share of the points. The other 5 gritted their teeth, struggling against the mantis beast's scythe attacks, looking quite disheveled. Brother Yang, my sister and I are just a burden, how could we possibly help you? Wei Zixuan deliberately made sarcastic remarks from the side. Su Jintang smiled without saying a word, her arms crossed in front of her. Yang Tuo forcefully took another attack from the mantis beast, his arm immediately slashed. He gritted his teeth, both angry and anxious. The two of you were able to kill a peak second-tier demon beast together before, of course you have the strength, how can you be a burden? Little sister Launching, we really can't hold on any longer. If you continue to watch, don't blame us for dragging you down with us before we die. He started threatening her at the end. They still had the strength to resist, so they were still reasonable, but when things got really desperate, these people would definitely use every last trick in the book to drag Su Jintang and her companion down with them. Wei Zixuan turned to Su Jintang, sister, then we. Su Jintang gave him a look, after I take them down, you summon the demon beast. Having said that, her eyes darkened, and she instantly activated her domain power, enveloping the entire battle area within its range. Yang Tuo's henchmen, all first-tier ability users, had no time to defend themselves and were immediately affected by Su Jintang's domain slowing effect. Immediately afterward, Su Jintang swiftly entered the battle area, approaching Yang Tuo's henchmen one by one. What are you doing? A hint of panic flashed across the face of Yang Tuo's top henchman. Su Jintang smiled at him, cracking her knuckles, guess? Without giving him a chance to react, Su Jintang's smile vanished instantly, and she leaned down. She assumed a charging stance and charged directly at the opposite side. A few seconds later, the defenseless henchman was taken down by Su Jintang. She stopped, silently looked up at the opposite side, and then swooped down again. Su Launching. You? Yang Tuo was furious, his face turning green, but the mantis beast's attacks were increasingly fierce, and he couldn't spare any attention to deal with Su Jintang. Just like that, all 5 henchmen were taken down by Su Jintang one by one. Wei Zixuan was still watching intently from the side. You're courting death. Yang Tuo finally stopped holding back, and fiercely raised his giant axe to strike the mantis beast. This attack used all his strength. The mantis beast was temporarily repelled. Yang Tuo, his face grim, looked at Su Jintang. Since you're courting death, then we all be out. With that, he picked up his giant axe and ran towards them. Tainyo summoned the demon beast. Su Jintang calmly ordered. Wei Zixuan gave an okay sign, understood. As soon as he finished speaking, Wei Zixuan clasped his hands together, his expression instantly turning serious, and began to activate his supernatural power. A massive stone gate slowly appeared before them, then opened. The familiar vortex black hole appeared inside the gate. Just as Yang Tuo was about to rush over, a giant, winged earth-breaking stone bird soared into the sky. Each flap of its dark gray wings created a huge vortex of air currents, whipping up fallen leaves from the ground. It's a peak third-tier demon beast, the earth-breaking stone bird. Wei Zixuan's voice revealed a hint of surprise. Every time he used his supernatural ability, it was like playing the lottery. Unexpectedly, at this crucial moment, he actually won the jackpot. At this moment, Su Jintang, dodging Yang Tuo's pursuit, had already hidden several meters away. Stone bird, flank attack. Wei Zixuan commanded, and the massive, earth-shattering stone bird immediately turned and charged towards Yang Tuo. Su Jintang instinctively turned and quickly escaped the battlefield. The mantis beast that had been chasing Yang Tuo charged over, and another peak stage third-tier stone bird appeared beside him. Yang Tuo, his face grim, quickly rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the attack. But no sooner had the attack passed than the two beasts formed a pincer movement, attacking him from both sides. Su launching, "Don't give me a chance, or I will definitely kill you." Driven to the brink of madness, Yang Tuo's breathing became heavy with anger, but as soon as he finished speaking, he had no choice but to raise his axe to defend against the attacks of the two beasts. Su Jintang smiled, ignoring him, and bent down to remove the point tokens from the 5 underlings one by one. Points plus 180. Points plus 270. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for successfully ranking 5th. The joint examination ranking will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang. The familiar broadcast sounded precisely on time from the horizon. The 5 underlings, already tied up, looked at Su Jintang in disbelief. You're the Su Jintang who ranked 6th? Su Jintang smiled, "Now I'm 5th. After saying that, she turned to Wei Zixuan, waving the 3 remaining point tokens in her hand. "You contributed a lot, these 3 points are for you." "Okay, sis." Wei Zixuan quickly ran over and swiped the points from the other 3. The broadcast sounded again. Congratulations to candidate Wei Zixuan for successfully ranking 7th. The joint examination ranking will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate Wei Zixuan. Yang Tuo and the others were completely dumbfounded. The burden they all disliked was actually on the honor roll of the joint entrance exam. Their rankings were even higher than Yang Tuo's. Yang Tuo finally realized he really messed up this time. He dodged the attacks of the 2 demonic beasts while gritting his teeth and deep in thought. None of the candidates on the honor roll were simple characters. He couldn't afford to waste any more time. Yang Tuo gritted his teeth unwillingly, gathered his strength again, and the giant axe in his hand instantly unleashed twice the power it had before, directly deflecting the attacks of the 2 demonic beasts. Before the demonic beasts could react, he decisively turned and ran into the depths of the forest. Sister Jintang, he ran away. Should we chase after him? Wei Zixuan quickly pressed for an answer. Su Jintang withdrew his gaze. He could withstand the attacks of 2 third-tier demonic beasts for so long by himself. He must have some trump cards up his sleeve. Forget it, let him go. Wei Zixuan nodded. Anyway, we already profited this time. However, after he escapes, he might come back for revenge. Su Jintang, we deal with whatever comes our way. Besides, he provoked us first. Wei Zixuan nodded. After withdrawing his gaze, Wei Zixuan glanced at the 5 people still tied to the tree. After pondering for a moment, he raised his hand and crushed the 5 people's point tokens. The 3rd-tier mantis beast's combat power had been almost completely depleted by Yang Tuo and the others' previous attacks. A few minutes later, with the combined efforts of Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan, the 3rd-tier mantis beast was forced to retreat, finally collapsing and dying, turning into a ball of point light. Su Jintang stepped forward and touched the ball of light. Points plus 1,000. We split it in half. Su Jintang immediately transferred half of the points to Wei Zixuan. This time, the rankings on the joint exam's honor roll remained unchanged. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan exchanged a glance. Wei Zixuan guessed, it seems the top few on the honor roll have terrifyingly high point counts. Su Jintang was also analyzing. The top 4 in the joint exam were all 2nd-tier ability users. If they were strong enough, they could challenge higher-tier beings, directly hunting 3rd-tier demonic beasts. A single 3rd-tier demonic beast is worth at least 1,000 points. Killing 2 or 3 would yield thousands of points. That's truly terrifying. The joint exam had been underway for 2 days. The 5 examiners were all silently observing the candidate's performance. This Su Jintang is quite interesting. She's climbed to 5th place on the joint entrance exam honor roll in just 2 days, Sherlock said with a smile. The other 3 military academy teachers offered a counter-argument, but she got to 5th place so quickly because she stole all the points. That doesn't reflect her personal ability. Aren't you being too harsh on her? After all, she's only a support-type ability user. Achieving this level is already an exceptional performance. When we go to the battlefield to fight, we can't rely on trickery and deception to eliminate monsters, can we? Ultimately, combat ability is the best indicator of a candidate's strength. Seeing the teachers arguing about Su Jintang, Zhuang Silin finally spoke up. To be fair, said Sherlock, regardless of how she obtained those points, they represent her personal ability. Strong combat skills without intelligence will easily put her at a disadvantage on the battlefield. Our military academy recruits students with strong overall qualities. There's no need to compare them based on just one aspect. Sherlock nodded. That's true. Times have changed. High-level transformed beasts are now just as intelligent as us, and sometimes their tricks and schemes are even more insidious. We really can't judge solely on combat strength. At this moment, the candidates still stationed in the safe zone were all shocked. I heard from another examinee that Su Jintang only has 1 auxiliary ability. How did she manage to get to 5th place? And this time, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan's rankings changed together. Could it be that these 2 teamed up? I get it now. They must have teamed up to steal points from other examinees, and definitely not just one. Otherwise their rankings wouldn't have risen so quickly. These two are too cunning. Everyone, be extra careful after leaving the safe zone. Elsewhere, Yang Tuo, who had just escaped in a sorry state, clenched his fists tightly, his face dark. You just wait. After distributing the points for the third-tier demon beasts, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan quickly left the scene. By this time, the sun had already set, and the sky was gradually darkening. Chapter 30. Su Jintang took out the 2 tents she had previously acquired and placed them on the open ground. I started the fire. We take turns keeping watch tonight, Wei Zixuan reported to Su Jintang after adding firewood. Okay. Su Jintang tidied up the 2 tents and sat down by the fire to warm herself. Wei Zixuan sat opposite her, took out the nutrient solution he had bought from the supply store, and took a sip. Sigh, these living conditions are too harsh. We don't even have a hot meal. We can only drink nutrient solution to fill our stomachs. I heard that the military academy canteen adds various rare and precious ingredients to many dishes. Not only do they taste better, but they also have an effect on improving the physical strength of those with superpowers, Su Jintang muttered. Hearing her say that, Wei Zixuan immediately swallowed hard. Yes, the military academy not only has a more advanced canteen, but its other resources and facilities are also far superior to those of the academy. The two of them began to yearn for their old meals while warming themselves by the fire. The night passed safely. The next day, as dawn broke, Su Jintang emerged from the tent and patted Wei Zixuan on the shoulder. Want to catch some sleep? Su Jintang had kept watch for the first half of the night, and Wei Zixuan for the second. Out of caution, neither of them dared to sleep too soundly. No need, I'm fine. Wei Zixuan got up and stomped out the fire. Su Jintang put away the 2 tents, thought for a moment, and said, let's play it safe today, focusing on second-tier demonic beasts. Okay. Wei Zixuan nodded. After packing up, the two quickly set off into the depths of the forest. The two were lucky today, and did not encounter any unexpected obstacles. Their hunt for second-tier monsters went very smoothly, and each of them earned 200 points in the morning. Just as they were about to find a place to rest, the familiar broadcast suddenly rang out. 10 minutes later, the Death Forest will face its first monster riot attack. Hunting monsters during this period will double your points. All candidates, please strive to survive. 10 minutes later, the Death Forest will face monster riot attack? Wei Zixuan's eyes widened. I knew the joint exam wouldn't be this easy. Su Jintang added, and double points. Wei Zixuan looked worried, but a monster riot attack means a large number of monsters. Even if they're all first-tier monsters, the danger is still immense. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. We need to find a temporary shelter. She looked up into the distance and, seeing the continuous mountain range, quickly made up her mind. Let's go find a cave. Time was limited, and the two of them didn't dare delay, quickly heading towards the mountain range. A short while later, a cave appeared before them. At this moment, at the cave entrance, 2 groups of people were facing off. Su Jintang and the other person exchanged a glance, slowed their movements, and cautiously approached. Jing Yuanzheng, there's no need for internal competition at a time like this. The monsters will rampage in a few minutes. If we continue this stalemate, we all die when the monsters charge, and we won't be able to participate in the later joint examinations. Io, I never wanted to compete with you. It's you who's always been hostile towards me. Su Jintang crouched behind the bushes, secretly peeking up to observe the 2 groups. The boy on the left, called Jing Yuanzheng, wore a white shirt and looked very clean and neat. Several teammates followed behind him. The girl confronting him had a cold expression and spoke arrogantly, followed by several people. Who's over there? Suddenly noticing something, Yuan Yao immediately turned her head towards the bushes. Seeing she had been exposed, Su Jintang immediately stood up, raised her hands, and smiled. Don't misunderstand, my brother and I just wanted to find a cave to take refuge, nothing more. Wei Zixuan also stood up, honestly raising his hands. Yes, yes. Jing Yuanzheng turned around. Since there are others here, let's temporarily cease fighting today and work together to figure out a way to survive the monster rampage. Yuan Yao looked away, her face cold, and said nothing more. Seeing the two had stopped arguing, Su Jintang, with great perceptiveness, walked over. Shall we go into the cave first? Okay. Jing Yuanzheng smiled gently and nodded in agreement. Yuan Yao glanced at Su Jintang. What's your mental strength level? Su Jintang answered truthfully, level 1. Only level 1. Yuan Yao frowned, seemingly wanting to say something, but after scrutinizing Su Jintang again, she shut up, turned, and walked into the cave. Come in. Jing Yuanzheng came to Su Jintang's side and comforted her. She's just stubborn but soft-hearted, don't overthink it. Come on in, it's safer with more of us. Su Jintang smiled and nodded, okay. She guessed that the girl from earlier was Yuan Yao, who was currently ranked first on the joint entrance exam list. It was clear that Yuan Yao seemed a little disdainful of her being only level 1. But perhaps out of sympathy, she didn't chase her away. She was indeed a cold-faced but warm-hearted person. Su Jintang turned and beckoned to Wei Zixuan, come on. As they entered the cave, Su Jintang asked in a low voice, was that Lady Yuanyao just now? Jing Yuanzheng glanced at her. Yes. A hint of gossip flickered in Su Jintang's eyes. I think she seemed to have some complaints about you earlier. Jing Yuanzheng sighed softly. I don't understand what's wrong with her. We always been classmates, and we used to get along well, but since last year, she's always been looking down on me. I apologized and admitted my mistakes, but she's still like this. Wei Zixuan, sensing the gossip, craned his neck. Brother Jing, did you do something to offend her? Jing Yuanzheng's smile became tinged with helplessness. If I had really done something to offend her, at least I know how to make amends, but I always been very good to her. Su Jintang stroked her chin. Based on my years of life experience. Both Jing Yuanzheng and Wei Zixuan turned to look at her. Su Jintang guessed, could she have a crush on you? Upon hearing this, both fell silent. Jing Yuanzheng's handsome face instantly flushed red. Hey classmate, you can't just say things like that. We're still students, how can we talk about such things? His ears burned, and he panicked terribly. He quickly turned and hurried into the cave. Su Jintang teasily observed his retreating figure. Such innocent teenage boys. Sis, do you think they really have feelings for each other? Wei Zixuan stroked his chin, starting to gossip. You have to ask them yourselves. Su Jintang smiled, turned, and continued walking inside. The cave was spacious enough to accommodate Su Jintang and her two groups. The group dispersed, with Jing Yuanzheng standing in the center, devising a strategy to deal with the monster horde. We have 6 people on our side. Io's team has 8, and with these 2 students, we have 16 in total. That should be enough to handle this monster horde. Oh right, Jing Yuanzheng said, turning to Su Jintang. How should we address you both? Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan exchanged a glance. As before, they each gave themselves aliases. Su launching. Wang Tiniu. Yuanyao chuckled, Wang Tinia? Your name is hilarious. Jing Yuanzheng coughed lightly, steer the conversation back on track. Okay. The announcement just now mentioned that points are doubled during the monster riot. Our 16 people can be divided into 4 groups of 4, taking turns guarding the cave. This way, everyone has a chance to kill monsters and earn points. If there are too many monsters to fight, the other groups will join forces. In short, safety is the priority. Points can be earned anytime, but if we are eliminated, our joint exam ends here. Su Jintang immediately raised her hand in support. That's right. Then, Wei Zixuan nodded in agreement. We do whatever Brother Jing says. Jing Yuanzheng smiled more. Okay, then for the group assignments, Yuanyao and I, plus Tiniu and Jintang, will be in one group. Those 2 siblings are relatively weak, so Yuanyao and I leading them will even out the strength. No one else objected. At this crucial moment, nobody wanted to drag someone along. Since Jing Yuanzheng had made the request, they naturally had no objections. Yuanyao glared at Jing Yuanzheng speechlessly. Did I say I wanted to be in your group? Jing Yuanzheng patiently explained. It's just that Lan Xing and Tang Yo are a bit weaker, so we were helping them out. I tolerate it for their sake. Yuanyao snorted coldly, turned around, and went to sit down on the other side of the cave to rest. Su Jintang watched the 2 bickering with a doting aunt's smile. This group arrangement suited her perfectly. She didn't mean anything by it, she just wanted to be intoxicated by the sweet smell of love. 10 seconds later, the monster riot siege would officially begin. 10, 9, 8. The countdown broadcast sounded, and time ticked away second by second. Jing Yuanzheng and Yuanyao, who had just been bickering, immediately became serious. Su Jintang also put away her smile, and looked solemnly out of the cave. 3, 2, 1. The moment the broadcast ended, a massive surge of energy seemed to descend from the sky, engulfing the entire forest. Followed by a deafening tremor, the earth shook violently. The roars of countless beasts, and the cries of birds echoed through the air. A howling wind swept in from outside the cave, sending chills down one's spine. Su Jintang volunteered, let's defend in the first round. Jing Yuanzheng and Wei Zixuan readily agreed, okay. Yuanyao dusted off her clothes and stood up. Didn't they say the points would double during the monster rampage? Jing Yuanzheng, let's see who can maintain first place after this wave of monster rampage ends. Io, Jing Yuanzheng said with a hint of helplessness, if you really want first place, I can let it go. But we're not the only candidates, others definitely want first place too. I noticed Su Jintang's ranking has risen rapidly these past 2 days. Her strength is definitely not simple. Yuanya's face instantly turned cold. That Su Jintang, don't let me catch her. Otherwise, I beat her every time I see her. Su Jintang, ? Wei Zixuan also staggered, quickly raising his hand to steady himself against the stone wall beside him. He swallowed hard. Sister Yuanyao, what did Su Jintang do to you? Why do you beat her every time you see her? Yuanyao sneered, haven't you heard? This Su Jintang stays up all night stealing other people's points. She has the nerve to accept 5th place, which she obtained through such deception. Su Jintang. When did she ever stay up all night stealing other people's points? Yu Wanyao then added coldly, right? And that Wei Zixuan too, they seem to be in cahoots. I beat them up every time I see them. Chapter 31. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan remained silent for a long time. Until Jing Yuanzheng interrupted their conversation. Alright, we need to hurry to the cave entrance before the monsters have a chance to break in. The group then ended their conversation and headed out of the cave. At this moment, the monsters that had been hiding inside the forest suddenly surged out in a frenzy. Many of the monsters had red eyes, slamming their claws into the ground, stirring up countless fallen leaves and dust, more ferocious than usual. Just as Su Jintang reached the cave entrance, she heard several panicked shouts outside. So many monsters. Stop fighting. We can't hold them off with just a few of us, run. As soon as the words were spoken, several figures rushed towards the cave. Their faces were filled with panic. There's a cave over there. Let's go there. In the blink of an eye, the fleeing group, leading a large number of monsters behind them, rushed out of the cave. Su Jintang frowned slightly and immediately activated his supernatural ability. The power of his domain rapidly spread outwards, the slowing effect taking effect instantly, stopping the rampaging demonic beasts chasing after them. Gentlemen, we're all classmates. Let's not compete at a time like this. Could we borrow this cave to take temporary refuge? As long as we can survive the demonic beast rampage, we leave immediately, the leading man said, clasping his hands in a fist salute. Jing Yuanzheng stepped forward, raising his hand and summoning his supernatural ability. A tattered scroll slowly appeared before him, with a stream of water flowing gently in the air beneath it. Let's go into the cave first, and hunt the demonic beasts outside together. Su Jintang curiously examined the scroll before Jing Yuanzheng. This must be his supernatural ability, the Heavenly Remnant Water Diagram. Each time it's used, it forcibly pulls enemies into the diagram for combat. Blue Star, Iron Ox, you two don't rush too far ahead, be careful. Jing Yuanzheng turned back to remind him, before turning and rushing out of the cave. Heaven and Earth shift, collect. After Jing Yuanzheng finished chanting the incantation, the Heavenly Remnant Water Diagram in front of him instantly erupted with a white light, followed by a powerful suction force that pulled all the dozens of demonic beasts in front of him into the painting. Sister, Jing Yuanzheng is really amazing. Wei Zixuan whispered in her ear. Su Jintang withdrew her gaze. Alright, we can't be lazy or cheat. After saying that, her eyes narrowed slightly, and she immediately raised her hand to expand the range of the domain slowing effect. The demonic beasts, who had been moving with great momentum, all froze for a moment, like an action movie in slow motion. Yu Wanyao, standing at the forefront, glanced back at Su Jintang, said nothing, and quickly used her slowing ability to charge into the horde of beasts. Mystic Ice Shield. Yu Wanyao raised her hands, and a circular ice shield, 2 meters in diameter, rapidly materialized in front of her. The shield, crafted from ice, shimmered with a cold light under the sunlight. The ice shield completely blocked the charging demonic beasts. The pressure on everyone instantly lessened. Su Jintang glanced at the few who had escaped. You brought the demonic beasts here, you must also contribute. The few nodded hurriedly. We defend together. Soon, these people also began to fight with all their might. With everyone's combined efforts, the dozens of first-tier demonic beasts outside were quickly wiped out. The demonic beasts, lifeless, lay outside the cave, each corpse with a cluster of light orbs of points floating above it. The points will be split equally, Su Jintang said calmly after the battle. Jing Yuanzheng nodded, adding a reminder, we might encounter similar situations later, so don't let your guard down. Su Jintang stepped out of the cave, bent down, and began collecting the points from the orbs. Points plus 50. Points plus 50. The points for a first-tier demonic beast have increased 5-fold, becoming 50 points. Wei Zixuan explained in surprise. Yu Wanyao analyzed, if the number of second-tier demonic beasts increases 5-fold, wouldn't that be 500 points? If we survive this wave of demonic beast riots, we double our points. Su Jintang reminded the two, if all the beasts that just rushed over were second-tier demonic beasts, even if we in the cave went all out, it would be difficult to resist them. So, during this wave of demonic beast riots, it's estimated that most of them will still be first-tier demonic beasts. Jing Yuanzheng nodded. Today is only the 3rd day of the joint exam. The difficulty shouldn't be as high as second-tier demonic beasts. As they were talking, another group of people, accompanied by demonic beasts, fled in their direction. Su Jintang looked up in that direction. Seeing the boy at the forefront, her brows furrowed slightly. Classmates in the cave. Please save us. Yang Tu gripped his giant axe and swung it backward. 3 first-tier demonic beasts were powerless to resist and immediately collapsed, lifeless. But the number of pursuing demonic beasts was simply too great. They couldn't kill them all. In just 2 seconds, Yang Tu rushed out of the cave. We're all classmates. You can't just stand by and watch me die. He seemed too panicked to notice Su Jintang standing next to him. Jing Yuanzheng and Yuan Yao exchanged a glance, then immediately stepped forward to block the monsters outside the cave. The others also rushed forward. Only Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan remained still. Seeing the others act, Yang Tuo quickly turned and charged into the horde of beasts. A few minutes later, the battle ended. Yang Tuo finally breathed a sigh of relief and leaned against the stone wall to rest. As he inadvertently looked up, he finally saw Su Jintang's figure. Su Jintang. It's you? Yang Tuo's face instantly darkened, his teeth clenched, his eyes filled with hatred. With that, Yang Tuo angrily raised his giant axe and charged forward. Su Jintang's eyes darkened slightly. She dodged the attack, then grabbed Yang Tuo by the back of his collar and pulled hard. The collar tightened around his neck, and a suffocating feeling washed over him. Yang Tuo gripped the giant axe with one hand and slammed it backward. Su Jintang nimbly leaped to the side. At that moment, Wei Zixuan rushed forward, quickly making hand gestures, preparing to summon a demonic beast. What are you doing? Jing Yuanzhang immediately interrupted them, his brows furrowed, his face filled with doubt. Yuan Yao put away her ice shield, glancing hesitantly at Su Jintang. He just called you Su Jintang? Yang Tu immediately spoke up. Did those two siblings tell you that one of them is named Su Lanqing and the other Wang Tinyu? Those are all fake names. I was tricked by them once before, and all my teammates were eliminated by those two. If I hadn't kept a trump card and escaped in the chaos, I probably would have been eliminated by those siblings beforehand. The atmosphere in the cave became tense. These past few days, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan had made rapid progress in the rankings, and with that came all sorts of rumors about them. Yuan Yao's face showed a hint of anger. You actually lied to me. Jing Yuanzhang was also stunned. Isn't there some misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? They are Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan, who were on the honor roll of the joint entrance exam, but they insisted on using fake names. Clearly, they have ulterior motives. Yang Tuo finally found his chance, and directly accused them. Jing Yuanzhang was also stunned. Are you really Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan? At this moment, the people inside the cave also heard the commotion outside and rushed out, asking, what's going on? Faced with the questioning and suspicious gazes of everyone present, Su Jintang quietly spoke, we did use fake names, but it was Yang Tuo who provoked us first. Wei Zixuan and I worked together to hunt down a peak second-tier demonic beast, and Yang Tuo, with his superior numbers, insisted on trying to steal our points. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine. Is there a problem with that? Yang Tuo's face darkened for a moment, then he immediately retorted, bullshit. It was clearly you two who saw our team was strong, so... He feigned weakness to gain my sympathy, then infiltrated the team to fish in troubled waters. Later, when we weren't paying attention, he stole all my teammates' points and even tried to steal mine. Wei Zixuan was furious at these words. You're twisting the truth. Have you no shame? Yang Tuo sneered, then turned to Jing Yuanzhang and the other man. Su Jintang and his companion deliberately disguised their identities. They're definitely plotting something. Why don't we take advantage of this monster rampage and drive them out directly, letting the monsters eliminate them to prevent future trouble? The others had all heard some of Su Jintang's deeds, and everyone chimed in, yes, people who are full of lies shouldn't be allowed to stay in the cave. Jing Yuanzhang hesitated slightly. I don't think those two siblings seem like that kind of people. Is there some misunderstanding? Su Jintang glanced around at everyone. If no one believes us, we can leave. Wei Zixuan was indignant, but seeing the questioning looks from those around them, a surge of courage rose within him. Yes, Sister Jintang, let's go. Please wait, you two, Jing Yuanzhang called out, stopping them. You both have your own versions of events, and it's difficult for us to make a judgment. But the beast tied outside is very dangerous. Why not put aside our differences for now, weather this crisis, and wait for the beast rampage to end? Whether you stay or leave is up to you. Yang Tuo's tone became urgent. You're raising a tiger to your own detriment. Since no one wants to be the villain, then I will. With that, he summoned his supernatural giant axe and prepared to attack Su Jintang. No one noticed the sly smile that flashed in his eyes. Su Jintang's face turned cold, and she immediately condensed a large amount of spiritual power in her hands, her domain power covering the entire area. Just as they were about to fight, Yuan Yao struck first, summoning an ice shield to block Yang Tuo's attack. Don't be so arrogant. Without evidence, who knows if what you're saying is true or false based solely on your own words? Yang Tuo was immediately speechless. Of course what I said is true. Alright, it's dangerous outside, let's not fight amongst ourselves for now. Jing Yuanzhang ended the dispute. From now on, you and Su Jintang will stay separate. Once the monster riot is over, you two can fight however you want. Su Jintang glanced at Yang Tuo, her voice icy. We were merciful to let you go last time. It won't happen again. Wei Zixuan cracked his knuckles, his face utterly cold. Yang Tuo gritted his teeth, withdrawing his supernatural power, a fire burning within him. He had originally intended to take this opportunity to eliminate Su Jintang and his companion, but they had managed to evade him again. Not long after, a wave of demonic beasts launched a violent attack. Fortunately, everyone was hiding inside the cave, so they didn't attract too much attention from the beasts. Taking advantage of the smaller number of beasts, Su Jintang rushed out, quickly hunting down several, collecting the points, and then retreating back into the cave to rest. After several such trips, Su Jintang had accumulated over 1,000 points. However, his ranking on the joint entrance exam honor roll remained unchanged. He guessed that others were also busy looting points. As dusk settled, the others in the cave came to relieve Su Jintang and the others. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan returned to the cave and found a corner to sit down, beginning to recover their mental energy. Yang Tua, on the other side, stared at the two with a gloomy expression, his mind filled with some unknown scheme. After their identities were exposed, Yu Wanyao and the others were more wary of Su Jintang, sitting far away from her and Wei Zixuan. The atmosphere in the cave became unusually silent. "Sister, what if he steals the points while we're sleeping tonight?" Wei Zixuan cautiously leaned closer and whispered. Su Jintang stopped cultivating and glanced at Yang Tua opposite her. He wouldn't dare. If he really did that, everyone else would know he was the one lying. Wei Zixuan then withdrew his watchful gaze, leaned against the stone wall, and closed his eyes to rest. Darkness fell quickly outside, and soon the entire cave was pitch black. Jing Yuan was taking out an energy lamp from his spatial bracelet. The energy lamps could be powered by mental energy, which was converted into electricity to generate light. Once the lights were on, they illuminated the entire cave. According to the pattern of the monster rampages, their attacks will decrease at night, so everyone can rest for a bit, Jing Yuanzheng added. But we still need to leave some people on watch tonight. We take turns, following our previous group assignments. Okay. The others nodded and began to quickly recover their mental energy. Su Jintang had been resting for a long time. She stood up and said, Wei Zixuan and I will go outside to keep watch first. The rest of you will take turns with us later. Yang Tua, finally finding an opportunity, immediately protested, who knows if you two have some bad intentions? What if we get wiped out by the monsters while you're on watch? Su Jintang's cold gaze swept over him. I don't know about others, but you, after this beast tide is over, I make sure you're the first one kicked out of the joint entrance exam. Her eyes were sharp as swords, staring directly at him, her voice loud and firm, every word carrying a sharp edge. Yang Tua felt a strange sense of guilt, as if he had been seen through. After regaining his composure, he forced a cold laugh and said, Fine, I be waiting. Jing Yuanzheng helplessly tried to smooth things over. Then how about this? I take turns with Su Jintang for the night watch. With me there, even if they have any ideas, I stop them immediately, so you can rest assured. Yu Wanyao, standing nearby, frowned and immediately stood up. I joined them too. Chapter 32. Su Jintang and her three companions arrived at the cave entrance. The moonlight was beautiful, and the night sky twinkled with stars. Jing Yuanzheng went to the cave entrance and gathered some branches and wood. We can make a small fire to keep warm, so it won't get too cold later in the night. Wei Zixuan quickly got up to help. I do it, I'm best at starting fires. In no time, the two boys had a fire burning. The warm firelight shone on Su Jintang's profile, casting a golden glow. Yu Wanyao scrutinized her. Why did you two use fake names to deceive us? What are you up to? Su Jintang silently added a handful of branches to the fire. Before she could speak, Wei Zixuan interjected, We really didn't intentionally use fake names to deceive anyone. Jintang and I are only first-tier ability users. We don't know how we ended up on the joint entrance exams honor roll. We were worried about being too high-profile and attracting attention, so we used fake names. What he said makes sense. This year's candidates are generally very strong, and there are quite a few second-tier ability users. It's normal for them to want to keep a low profile. Jing Yuanzheng nodded in agreement. Yu Wanyao frowned even more deeply. Then why is everyone outside saying that you two stole other candidates' points in the middle of the night? Su Jintang finally spoke up. The time the rankings changed in the middle of the night, it was a friend I hadn't known for long. He said he wanted to team up, but in the middle of the night, when no one was looking, he stole everyone's points. After I found out, I just took them back from him. That's it. Just that simple? Yu Wanyao stared at her, carefully observing her expression. Su Jintang met her gaze and said frankly, It's that simple. Whether they believed her or not, Yu Wanyao and the other woman never mentioned it again. As night fell, everyone in the cave gradually fell asleep. Su Jintang silently added wood and branches to the fire, and the weak flames grew stronger again. After keeping watch for a while, the next shift of guards came out of the cave. We take over, you guys go back and rest. Su Jintang woke up Wei Zixuan and the other two, and got up first to return to the cave. That night, the demonic beasts didn't rampage much. It remained calm until the next morning. The demonic beast rampage was over. Congratulations to the examinees for surviving. The announcement rang out, spreading throughout the area. Su Jintang was awakened. She rubbed her temples, opened her eyes, and looked outside the cave. Great. The demonic beast rampage is over. The guards outside the cave shouted excitedly. Immediately afterward, the others were also awakened. Jing Yuanzheng stood up, brushing the dust off his clothes. The monster rampage is over. Everyone can decide for themselves whether to stay or leave. Yang Tuo stood up immediately, his face cold, as he glanced at Su Jintang. Then I be going. With that, he hurriedly turned and walked out of the cave. Wei Zixuan cursed angrily, he runs pretty fast. He can't go far. Su Jintang withdrew her gaze, turned to say goodbye to Jing Yuanzheng and Su Jintang. We won't stay any longer either. See you again someday. With that, she and Wei Zixuan turned and walked out of the cave. Yuan now stared at their departing figures. They wouldn't be chasing after that Yang Tuo, would they? Jing Yuanzheng stood aside and silently said, if what those siblings said last night was true, then Yang Tuo really should be eliminated. Just a few dozen meters from the cave, Yang Tuo, who had been running at full speed, was finally intercepted by Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan. What are you doing? I didn't lay a hand on you yesterday, and you still dared to follow me. Forced to stop, Yang Tuo quickly summoned his supernatural giant axe and assumed a defensive stance. Wei Zixuan smiled broadly. The two of us combined aren't even a match for you. Why are you running? Su Jintang blocked his way from the other side, cracking her knuckles. Caught in a pincer movement, Yang Tuo clenched his fists 2 against 1. What's this? Come at me one-on-one. Su Jintang smiled and looked up. We're not exactly gentlemen, we just love 2 against 1. As she finished speaking, her smile faded. In an instant, immense spiritual power erupted from her body. She raised her arm, triggering a ruby-encased dart, and an arrow wreathed in flames shot towards Yang Tuo. Yang Tuo quickly raised his giant axe to block. The next second, Su Jintang, moving with astonishing speed, was in front of him. Su Jintang slightly curled her lips, clenched her fist, and punched him hard in the abdomen. A powerful shockwave emanated from her fist. Yang Tuo's face instantly contorted in pain, and his body flew backward like a cannonball. At this moment, Wei Zixuan quickly summoned a stone gate. But his luck wasn't as good as before. This time he only summoned a first-tier demonic beast, the Dark Crawling Ant. Dark Crawling Ant, devour. Wei Zixuan immediately issued the attack command. Although it was only a first-tier demonic beast, it still possessed some offensive power and could cause Yang Tuo considerable trouble. Yang Tuo, entangled by the Dark Crawling Ant, became extremely impatient. These insect-like demonic beasts were disgusting to look at, and disgusting to fight. Su Jintang gave him no chance to react, immediately closing the distance to Yang Tuo, bending down to gather strength, and then delivering a powerful kick between his legs. Yang Tuo's face instantly turned pale, and a voice filled with gritted teeth rang out. Su Jintang! Wildfire 100 slashes. A loud shout came from Yang Tuo's mouth, and he raised his golden giant axe high, his face filled with intense hatred, aiming straight at Su Jintang. Su Jintang's eyes darkened, and he began to frantically channel his mental energy. Just as the giant axe was about to strike, the slowing effect of the domain of ice enveloped the entire area. Ice slowing. Yang Tuo's movement of raising the giant axe froze for a moment, a chill washing over him, making him shiver. He hesitated, looking at Su Jintang. Su Jintang seized the opportunity to dodge to the side, quickly circling behind him and kicking him in the back, forcibly interrupting his attack. Yang Tuo was instantly kicked away, crashing into a tree trunk. Su Jintang leaped up, using 2 bursts of speed to appear behind him. Taking advantage of his momentary lapse in attention, she snatched the point's jade token from his waist. Wei Zixuan quickly controlled the dark ants to catch Su Jintang. Yang Tuo was, after all, a second-tier ability user. Even the 2 of them combined would have a hard time defeating him. Therefore, from the beginning, Su Jintang's goal wasn't to defeat him, but to steal his point's jade token. Yang Tuo didn't surprise them at all. Once provoked, he lost all reason and completely forgot about protecting his token. When Yang Tuo came to his senses, he immediately realized his point's jade token was gone, his face turning pale. Su Jintang. Leave a way out for others. If you just eliminate me like this, our feud will be over. Su Jintang chuckled lightly. The way you put it, it's like you forgive and forget just because I return your points token now. Of course. As long as you return the token, I promise I never bother you again. Yang Tuo's tone became urgent. Su Jintang toyed with the token in her hand, circling it back and forth, but she didn't reply to Yang Tuo. Wei Zixuan walked over and whispered, Don't believe his nonsense. This guy has no integrity whatsoever. Yang Tuo nervously swallowed, continuing to beg for mercy. My lords, I really know I was wrong. Please give me another chance, I promise. Before he could finish, Su Jintang had already taken away half of his points. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for successfully ranking 3rd on the joint entrance exam honor roll. The honor roll will soon be updated. Yang Tuo gritted his teeth, angry but not daring to say anything. Su Jintang tossed the points jade token to Wei Zixuan. Half of the points are yours. Wei Zixuan caught the token, pondered for a moment, then used the remaining half, before decisively crushing it. You? Yang Tuo's eyes were filled with disbelief. He pointed at Wei Zixuan angrily, but before he could finish his sentence, his figure slowly disappeared from sight. Congratulations to candidate Wei Zixuan for successfully ranking 5th. The joint examination ranking will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate Wu Yuating for successfully ranking 9th. The joint examination ranking will soon be changed. Congratulations to candidate. Yang Tuo was originally ranked 9th. After his points were reset to 0, the rankings of the candidates behind him all rose rapidly. This ranking change once again caused astonishment and discussion among the candidates. My god, Su Jintang has actually broken into the top 3. How many points has she stolen from everyone? Didn't you hear the ranking changes? Yang Tuo, who was originally 9th, has dropped out of the top 10. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan must have teamed up to steal his points. It seems the points of ordinary candidates are no longer enough for Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan. This is a good thing for us. At least she won't steal our points anymore. So now, the candidates on the joint entrance exam's red list should be the ones most worried. After eliminating Yang Tuo, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan quickly left the scene. In a secluded grove, Su Jintang leaned against a large tree trunk to rest. She took out the last bottle of nutrient solution, unscrewed it, and drank it. Sister Jintang, I finished all the nutrient solution I bought last time. There are still 3 days left in the joint entrance exam. We need to go back to the safe zone again, Wei Zixuan said, turning his head. Our identities have been exposed, and it's definitely not safe to return to the safe zone. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. Yang Tuo was just squeezed out of the top 10 on the broadcast, which will cause a lot of misunderstandings. If we show our faces in the safe zone, we'd be targeted. Wei Zixuan's face showed worry. Then, this? He stammered for a long time, unable to think of a solution. Su Jintang slowly raised his eyes, a slight smile playing on his lips. Since everyone thinks we're bandits now, let's make good use of this identity. Huh? Wei Zixuan was stunned. A few minutes later, in the jungle area closer to the safe zone, a small team encountered a crisis. This team consisted of 5 people. For the past 3 days, they had been hunting first-tier monsters methodically, but the earnings were far too little to share among the 5. So today, the 5 of them mustered their courage and decided to try hunting second-tier monsters. Unexpectedly, their luck ran out, and they immediately encountered 2 second-tier demonic beasts. The 5 members of the team were only first-tier ability users, and after struggling to resist for several rounds, they began to be relentlessly pushed back by the beasts. No, the 5 of us can't withstand the attack of 2 second-tier demonic beasts. At that moment, a powerful slowing effect enveloped them. The 2 demonic beasts, which had been attacking with incredible speed, became incredibly slow. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the 5 members of the team quickly disengaged from the battlefield, scattering in all directions. Everyone, split up and run. Don't let the beasts catch up. One of the boys ran towards the safe zone. Soon after, a blurry figure appeared, blocking his path. The boy's heart tightened, and he stopped, quickly and warily clutching the jade token at his waist. Who are you? What do you want? Su Jintang leaned lazily against a tree trunk, sunlight streaming down her body. She stretched comfortably. I am Su Jintang. My name is Su Jintang. Then, Wei Zixuan emerged from the other side of the woods, twirling a branch in his hand, exuding a carefree, bandit-like air. He slightly raised his head, revealing a handsome smile. I am Wei Zixuan. Su Jintang and her companion's reputation as bandits was now deeply ingrained. The boy's face instantly turned pale, his lips trembling slightly with fear. Sister Jintang, Brother Zixuan, I only have less than 500 points in total. It's of no help to you two at all. Don't try to steal from me. Su Jintang crossed her arms and walked towards the boy step by step. We're not taking points today, we just want nutrient solution. Hand over whatever nutrient solution you have, we buy it at market price. Wei Zixuan and Su Jintang walked towards the boy with a smile. I only have 1 bottle left. I was planning to buy it again tonight when I got back to the safe zone. The boy's legs trembled with fear. He quickly pulled out the last bottle of nutrient solution and offered it to him with both hands. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan exchanged a glance. Wei Zixuan continued, 1 bottle it is. According to the price at the safe zone supply shop, it's 10 points per bottle. I transfer it to you. No need, no need. The boy quickly waved his hands and shook his head. I don't want points. Just let me go. Wei Zixuan walked towards him. We're not real bandits. It's only 10 points. I transfer it to you. He picked up the point token from his waist and was about to transfer the money on the spot. The boy was immediately terrified by this action. He screamed and ran away, don't steal my points. I was really wrong. He ran while shouting and disappeared from sight in a short while. Wei Zixuan paused, then turned to Su Jintang. Are we that scary right now? Su Jintang looked away, maybe. Soon, the two resumed their previous game, vying for points for several more rounds. Each time Wei Zixuan tried to transfer points to the other, the boy would turn red in fear, frantically shaking his head in refusal. Finally, Su Jintang threatened menacingly, "If you don't accept, we crush your points token." The boy's breath hitched, and he quickly changed his tune. "I accept. I accept." Wei Zixuan picked up the points token and transferred 60 points to the other boy. 6 bottles of nutrient solution. 60 points in total. "Thank you." The boy thanked her profusely, tears streaming down his face. Seeing that Su Jintang made no further moves, he quickly turned and ran away. Chapter 33. Sister Jintang, this nutrient solution is enough for us. Wei Zixuan took out 4 bottles of nutrient solution and handed them to Su Jintang. Su Jintang put them into her bracelet space. "Let's go find the monsters. We've been bandits all morning and haven't earned a single point. We need to be more efficient this afternoon." Wei Zixuan nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, within the safe zone, the rumors about Su Jintang and her companion were becoming increasingly outrageous. "Have you heard? This morning, many examinees were robbed by Su Jintang and her companion, leaving them with nothing but their underwear. It's terrifying. Are they bandits or thugs? They even steal people's clothes. Anyway, after leaving the safe zone, everyone must be careful of a man and a woman." Su Jintang and her companion were still focused on hunting down second-tier monsters. Points plus 100. Points plus 100. As the number of battles increased, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan's teamwork improved significantly. Together, they could take down a second-tier demonic beast within 5 minutes. Deeper into the forest, Su Jintang slowed down and lowered her voice. "Going further in, we might encounter third-tier demonic beasts, which are beyond our capabilities for now. Let's retreat." Wei Zixuan's demonic beast summoning ability was highly unpredictable in terms of the level of the beasts he could summon each time. If they were unlucky and accidentally summoned a first-tier demonic beast, Su Jintang alone would be no match for a third-tier beast. Wei Zixuan nodded silently, his body slightly bent, maintaining a wary posture as he retreated step by step. Just then, a conversation drifted from the nearby bushes. "If you voluntarily hand over your points, I can spare your early elimination. But if we have to intervene personally, and we accidentally crush your point tokens, then, who knows? You are," a trembling voice rang out. A gruff male voice laughed loudly. "That's right, we are Wei Zixuan and Su Jintang. Hurry up and hand over your points." Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan, who were about to retreat, stopped in their tracks. The two exchanged a silent glance. Yin Zitao collected their points and tossed the tokens back. "I let you off this time since you've been obedient. Take the tokens and run." The two who had been robbed immediately got up and ran away. "Brother, that was a great idea. We've stolen at least 800 points this morning." His sister, Yin Yuding, walked over with a smile. Yin Zitao put his hands on his hips. "Let's go find the next group." The two were about to turn and leave. "Please wait, you two." Su Jintang slowly emerged from the woods. Immediately after, Wei Zixuan followed. Yin Zitao and Wei Zixuan froze, stopping warily. "Is there something you need?" "Nothing, just passing by and happened to see you two robbing someone." Su Jintang looked up at the two men. "I heard you're the famous Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan." Yin Zitao paused for a moment, then a smile appeared on his face. "That's right. If you know what's good for you, hand over your points now, otherwise, once we take action, we eliminate you." Yin Yuding also cooperated, putting his hands on his hips and striking a fierce pose. "My brother has a bad temper. Be careful, he might lose his temper, and you won't even have a chance to escape." Su Jintang pursed her lips and smiled slightly. "We won't run." A dark glint flashed in her eyes as she decisively attacked, her body flashing towards Yin Zitao. Wei Zixuan, standing nearby, also quickly summoned a stone gate. "You actually dared to attack." Yin Zitao's face darkened. He immediately clenched his fists, and golden fur instantly spread from his body, transforming him into a giant humanoid ape in the blink of an eye. Snow 8000 Mountain Force. A blinding white light erupted from his body, and a powerful fluctuation of spiritual energy could be felt rising around him. Su Jintang was somewhat surprised. The boy who had been using their names to deceive people was actually a second-tier ability user. Realizing that her opponent was not weak, Su Jintang became even more cautious than before. She clenched her fists, concentrating her spiritual energy in her palms, forcefully blocking Yin Zitao's attack. When their forces collided, a strong radiating force was generated, sending nearby fallen leaves flying in all directions. A flicker of surprise crossed Yin Zitao's face. "You're also a Tier 2 ability user?" His ability was the Blizzard Ape. After using it, his body would transform into the form of a Blizzard Ape, doubling his physical strength. It was virtually impossible for an ability user of the same tier to withstand his punch head-on. But just now, this girl had actually fought him to a draw. Su Jintang shook her hand, raised her eyes, and replied, "No." As soon as she finished speaking, her eyes turned cold, and she charged forward again. At this moment, Wei Zixuan also completed his beast summoning. This time, he was lucky, directly summoning a Tier 3 peak beast. 2 minutes later, Yan Zitao and his sister were subdued and tied to a tree. Su Jintang approached Yan Zitao, reaching out to take the points jade token from his waist. Tell me, how many people's points did you steal? Yan Zitao knew they'd run into a tough opponent. He pursed his lips, pondered for a moment. I don't know. Anyway, we only managed to grab a little over 800 points before you caught us. Yan Yuding anxiously pleaded, Sister, my brother and I were just grabbing points, but we let everyone else go in the end. We didn't eliminate them prematurely. Competition is inevitable in the joint entrance exam, and it wasn't just the two of us grabbing points, other candidates were too. Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan are the most despicable ones. They're the ones who started this trend of grabbing points. Su Jintang stroked his chin and asked, Do you know who we are? Yan Zitao and his sister hesitated for a moment, their eyes full of doubt. Wei Zixuan stepped forward. I'm that most despicable Wei Zixuan. Su Jintang nodded. I'm Su Jintang. Yan Zitao and his sister's pupils dilated in shock. Huh? Yan Yuding opened her mouth in disbelief. Yan Zitao was utterly stunned, his lips trembling slightly, unable to utter a single word. Su Jintang continued, Actually, it's normal to steal points. We don't have the energy to be heroes. But for you two to use our names to act like bandits is a bit underhanded. Yes. Yan Zitao quickly nodded in apology. We were blind and didn't recognize you two. We're willing to offer all our points as an apology. Su Jintang smiled. We only want the 800 points you two stole. You can keep the rest. But besides that, I need you to do something for me. Yan Zitao replied nervously, Please speak. Su Jintang said, After I let you go, you must explain to everyone you meet that Wei Zixuan and I are good people, and have never actively stolen points from other examinees. Yan Zitao was stunned. Just this? He was prepared to be relentlessly exploited by Su Jintang. Yan Yuding snapped out of her daze, and quickly nodded, Okay, we accept. As long as you let us go, my brother, and I will definitely explain to everyone we meet that you are good people. After taking the 800 points Yan Zitao had stolen, Wei Zixuan untied the two of them. Let's go! Wei Zixuan put the rope back into his bracelet space. The Yin siblings exchanged a glance, still somewhat bewildered. They were let go so easily. After a few seconds of silence, Yan Zitao clasped his hands in thanks. Thank you both for your mercy. We will definitely keep our promise. With that, he turned and left with Yan Yuding. Wei Zixuan smiled and looked away. Sister Jintang, our reputations will definitely improve this time. Hopefully. Su Jintang stretched. Let's go find some more monsters. The joint entrance exam was already halfway through, and more candidates were vying for points, making the atmosphere extremely tense. After Yan Zitao and his sister were released, they kept their promise and explained to each group they encountered that Su Jintang and her brother were good people. The two meant well, but for some reason, every group's expression changed immediately after hearing this. Gentlemen, no need to say anything more, we understand. You were threatened by Su Jintang and her brother, right? We pass this message on to the others. When we get back to the safe zone, don't worry. Yan Zitao paused, then quickly explained, You misunderstood? Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan aren't like the rumors say. Not only did they not steal our points, they let us go directly. Yan Yuding nodded in agreement. Yes, those two siblings seem like nice people. They don't seem like the type to steal points in the middle of the night. The people opposite waved their hands, giving an I understand look. Don't worry, we understand. They turned and left, muttering, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan are getting more and more outrageous. To clear their names, they're even threatening other test takers to speak well of them. This needs to be relayed to everyone immediately. Yan Zitao stood silently in place. Yan Yuding's lips trembled slightly. Brother, I think I know how rumors start. Yeah, I know too, Yan Zitao replied quietly. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye, and the joint entrance exam finally reached its final day. With Yan Zitao and his sister's persistent explanations, Su Jintang and his brother's reputation as bandits became even more deeply ingrained. Candidate Sha Wenshu successfully ranked 6th on the list, and the joint entrance exam honor roll was about to change. The joint entrance exam was nearing its end, and the competition among candidates had become extremely fierce. The honor roll rankings changed drastically almost every 10 minutes. However, the top 3 remained quite stable. First place was still Yuan Yao. Jing Yuanzheng was still ranked 2nd. Third place was the infamous bandit Su Jintang. Sister, today is the last day of the joint entrance exam. Do you still want to try to improve your ranking? Wei Zixuan asked curiously. Su Jintang chuckled, We see. Yuan Yao and the other two must have been busy these past few days. They probably have 7 or 8,000 points by now. It's alright. 3rd place is not bad. Wei Zixuan sat down to rest contentedly. 5th place is still pretty good. The 24-hour countdown has begun, and the flag capture mode has been triggered. The red flag location will be updated in 1 minute. The first person to pull out the red flag will receive an extra 10,000 points, and the exam will be immediately terminated. The 24-hour countdown has begun, and the flag capture mode has been triggered. The announcement rang 3 times before stopping. Students throughout the forest looked up and began to search their surroundings. How much? Did I hear that right? 10,000 points. Even Yuan Yao, who's ranked first on the joint exam's red list, probably doesn't have 10,000 points. Doesn't that mean if I grab the red flag, I can go straight for first place? This mode is so exciting. If I'm lucky, all the other top students will be fighting, which will be perfect for me to snag a spot. 10,000 points will definitely put me in first place. All the students were excited. 1 minute later, the red flag location was updated. A soaring red light appeared out of nowhere, incredibly conspicuous in the sky. Everyone within 100 miles could see the location of the red flag. Su Jintang jumped down from the tree, brushed the dust off his hands, and his face lit up with interest. Let's go join the fun. Wei Zixuan rubbed his hands expectantly. Interesting. Let's see who gets the 10,000 point red flag. The joint entrance exam was on its final day, and all the candidates naturally wanted to try their luck one last time. After the flag grabbing rules were announced, almost all the candidates simultaneously put down what they were doing and immediately decided to head to the red flag capture point. Half an hour later, Su Jintang and his companion quietly climbed a large tree, hiding behind the dense canopy, their eyes curiously observing the red flag point a few meters away. A large crowd had already gathered near the red flag marker, all staring excitedly at the red flag enveloped in a ball of light, but no one dared to make a move. The red flag, enveloped in light, hovered 5 meters in the air. It was impossible to seize the flag instantly. This meant that if anyone dared to make the first move, the others would join in to stop them. No matter how strong one was, they couldn't withstand such a large-scale attack. The first person to strike would certainly not have a good ending. The crowd remained frozen in place. A short while later, Jing Yuanzheng and Yuan Ao arrived. Their reputation was no less than Su Jintang's, and they were quickly recognized. It's Jing Yuanzheng and Yuan Yao from the joint entrance exams honor roll. They're here too. The candidates, who had been somewhat restless, immediately fell silent, all turning their attention to the two. Jing Yuanzheng had no interest in competing for a ranking. Yuan Yao had insisted on bringing him along. His expression was relatively calm. He glanced curiously at the red flag before looking away. Yuan Yao, however, looked at the red flag with exceptional fervor. She probably intended to participate in the battle for the red flag. More and more people arrived at the scene, and within minutes, the area around the red flag was surrounded by layers of people. The atmosphere gradually became tense. Finally, someone couldn't resist any longer and leaped from the crowd, shouting, "That red flag is mine." With that, the person unleashed their full power, using their momentum to soar into the air, reaching out to touch the red flag within the ball of light. Chapter 34. The first to pull down the red flag would instantly gain 10,000 points, propelling them to the top of the leaderboard. The temptation was simply too great. Seeing themselves getting closer and closer to the red flag, only 1 meter away. Dare to snatch it right in front of so many of us? Shoot him down! Immediately, someone reacted, manipulating their supernatural abilities to strike the boy in the air. In the blink of an eye, various colorful supernatural lights erupted simultaneously, attacking the boy trying to grab the flag. The boy didn't even touch the light before being slammed down by the combined supernatural effects of the others. After landing, the boy clutched his chest, spitting out a mouthful of blood. The surrounding examinees, their faces dark, questioned him speechlessly. "Brother, so many of us were watching. Do you think we're blind?" The boy, pale-faced and clutching his chest, struggled to his feet and voluntarily retreated 2 meters away. "I'm not going to try to grab it." After this incident, those who still wanted to take advantage of the chaos gave up the idea. There were too many candidates nearby. It was impossible for anyone to pull down the red flag in public. At this moment, Yin Zitao and his sister quietly arrived at the scene. Although they both knew that with their abilities, it was unlikely they could grab the red flag, they still wanted to join in the fun. "Brother, where are Sister Jintang and Brother Zixuan?" Yin Yuding asked softly. Yin Zitao cleared his throat. "They probably haven't had time to come yet." Su Jintang, hiding in a tree, quietly moved her body back a little. Wei Zixuan was also hiding in the canopy of a nearby tree. The two turned and looked at each other, then suddenly looked away, continuing to watch the show. Everyone wants this red flag, but no one dares to act together. Instead of dragging this out, why not just have a big free-for-all? A somewhat carefree voice rang out. Su Jintang turned her gaze and saw a boy holding a folding fan, with long, black hair cascading down his shoulders, a slight smile playing on his refined, handsome face. The word refined and elegant perfectly described him. Yuan Ao stepped forward, her face cold. "Shui Zhongqi, what are you up to now? Make us have a big free-for-all, so you can hide behind and reap the benefits?" The onlookers all looked at Shui Zhongqi in surprise. So he's Shui Zhongqi, who ranked 4th on the joint entrance exams honor roll. He used to be 3rd, but Su Jintang pushed him down. "I heard he's a first-level inscription master, and now a disciple of the chief president of the Federal Inscription Master Association. Shui Zhongqi closed his folding fan and said with a smile, "Io, we've been classmates for 3 years. Don't you know my character?" Yuan Yao sneered. "I know you too well. I won't believe a word you say." Seeing the confrontation between the two, Jing Yuanzheng sighed and had to step forward to persuade them. "It's just the title of first on the joint entrance exam's honor roll. Is it really necessary for you to fight so fiercely?" I said, "I will definitely get first place in this year's joint entrance exam and enter rectus." Yuan Yao's voice was extremely confident. Shui Zhongqi's smile gradually faded. "Unfortunately, I'm also very interested in this title of first place in the joint entrance exam." Seeing this, the other candidates around dared not utter a sound. The top-ranked students in the joint entrance exam were all present, leaving them no room to speak. However, where were Su Jintang, who ranked 3rd, and Wei Zixuan, who ranked 5th? Time ticked by, and the situation reached a stalemate once again. At this moment, the 5 military academy instructors watching the live broadcast of the simulated battlefield began to discuss with great interest. Shui Zhongqi's strength has already reached the 2nd tier, and he's also a 1st-tier inscription master. Relatively speaking, his strength is much greater than Yuan Yao and Jing Yuanzheng, Shirlekong said with a smile. The other 3 military academy instructors echoed this sentiment. Indeed. I bet on it. Shui Zhongqi might be the first to pull out the red flag. However, Jing Yuanzheng's strength isn't bad either. His heavenly remnant water map has no less potential for future development than the Peacock token recruited by Rectus. By the way, Shirlekong, reminded by this, suddenly remembered something and looked at Zhuang Silin. "Teacher Zhuang, I remember that Rectus also sent Jing Yuanzheng a special recruitment invitation, right?" Zhuang Silin nodded and gave a faint He refused, saying he had other goals. Shirlekong's eyes were full of shock. He even refused Rectus' special recruitment. Which military academy does he want to go to? I guess. Zhuang Silin paused. He might want to go directly to the Federation Army. Ah? The other 3 military academy teachers were all shocked. Generally, students must first undergo study and instruction at academies and military academies before they can enter the Federation Army and become formal officers. To directly bypass the military academy and enter the army is nothing short of a pipe dream. Wait, his surname is Jing? One of the military academy teachers exclaimed, seemingly guessing something. Shirlekong and the others exchanged glances, their expressions suddenly changing. So he's from the Jing family. That makes no surprise. Zhuang Silin remained silent. She already knew about Jing Yuanzheng's identity, so she wasn't too surprised that he had refused their special recruitment offer. Speaking of which, this year's students are quite interesting. Several of them rejected the military academy's special recruitment invitations. They're quite courageous. Our federation needs this kind of talent, Shirlekong continued, fanning himself with his folding fan. At the red flag mark of the joint entrance exam simulation battlefield, more and more onlookers rushed to the scene. The countdown to the joint entrance exam continued, but no one dared to make the first move. Shui Zhongqi, growing impatient, broke the silence, fanning himself with his folding fan. "Everyone, this stand and wait isn't going to work, is it?" Yuan Yao gave him a cold glance. "Then what do you suggest?" "How about?" A slow smile curved Shui Zhongqi's lips. The next second, his eyes turned cold, and with a wave of his hand, he unleashed countless inscribed runes. Instantly, several attack blades materialized and began flying in all directions. Not good. "Everyone, get out of the way." The examinees who had been watching the spectacle were forced to defend themselves. The scene became chaotic. Because there were so many people, accidentally attacking someone nearby was easy. Those nearby, in order to defend themselves, also quickly launched attacks. Thus, a scene of hundreds of people fighting indiscriminately unfolded. Shui Zhongqi seized the opportunity to leap into the air, reaching out to grab the red flag 5 meters above. "Shui Zhongqi, you bastard!" Yuan Yao yelled, leaping up and grabbing Shui Zhongqi's clothes, pulling him down forcefully. Shui Zhongqi cursed inwardly, "Can't you just let me get first place? I'm fine if Jing Yuanzheng doesn't compete with you, but you suppressed me for so many years. What's wrong with letting me get first place? If I can't get first place, you can't either." Yuan Yao immediately summoned her Xuanjia ice shield and slammed it down on Shui Zhongqi. The ice shield was incredibly hard, serving both as defense and a weapon. Caught off guard, Shui Zhongqi could only brace himself with his hands against the impact of the shield, the shockwave numbing his arms. Now, he couldn't care less about grabbing the flag, he could only focus on receiving Yuan Yao's attack. Su Jintang, who had been silently observing the scene, realized the opportunity had arrived. As she turned her head, Wei Zixuan, perched in the opposite tree, gestured to her, "Sister, go grab it, I hold off the others." Su Jintang nodded, withdrew her gaze, and leaped from the treetop. Once airborne, she channeled her full mental energy, charging directly towards the red flag in the sky. "It's Su Jintang. Jing Yuanzheng, stop her." Yuan Yao, who had been watching the red flag's location out of the corner of her eye, reacted immediately upon seeing Su Jintang suddenly appear. Shui Zhongqi, who was engaged in combat with her, also paused, glancing up at the sky. At this moment, Su Jintang was only halfway to the red flag. Jing Yuanzheng reacted, immediately summoning the Qin water diagram. Qin water formation, withdraw. A powerful suction force pulled Su Jintang towards Jing Yuanzheng's position. Su Jintang's eyes darkened, her mental energy instantly igniting. Breaking free from the Qin water diagram suction, she stepped on the head of a fellow examinee, charging again and leaping into the sky. Thanks, brother. After thanking him, Su Jintang flew towards the red flag again. Brother Jing, your opponent is me. Wei Zixuan, riding a giant eagle-like beast, slowly flew down from the treetops to the scene. He smiled and waved to Jing Yuanzheng. Jing Yuanzheng frowned, finally realizing, so you've been hiding in the shadows all along. Stop fighting, or someone else will snatch the red flag. Seeing the situation was getting out of hand, Shui Zhongqi's tone became anxious, and he began to feign weakness towards Yuan Yao. Yuan Yao snorted coldly, her attacks becoming increasingly fierce. It doesn't matter, as long as you don't get first place. Shui Zhongqi was speechless. He glanced at Su Jintang, who was almost touching the red flag, and taking advantage of Yuan Yao's inattention, he immediately waved his hand, taking out all the inscribed runes stored in his bracelet space, and attacked Su Jintang simultaneously. Sister, I have over 20 attack runes in total. Trying to pull a sneak attack won't work on you. What are you daydreaming about? Yuan Yao slammed her ice shield down again. This time, it forced Shui Zhongqi back several steps. The 20-odd runes instantly materialized, forming a matrix that blocked Su Jintang's path. Although they were only level 1 attack runes, the sheer number of them created an attack wave that was almost equivalent to the full force strike of a peak second-tier ability user. Su Jintang remained calm, simply replying, "Do you have as many runes as I do?" With that, Su Jintang took out the remaining 60-odd attack runes and shattered them all with her mental power. In the blink of an eye, the entire area was enveloped by the energy blades formed by the runes. Shui Zhongqi's few runes were no match for them, and were instantly absorbed. Shui Zhongqi, stunned for a moment, shouted angrily, "Where did you get so many inscription runes?" A single level 1 inscription costs several hundred stars. Over 60 runes would cost at least tens of thousands of star coins. With that kind of money, most people would choose to buy rare and precious materials or magical artifacts to improve their strength. No one would be willing to spend so much money on these level 1 inscriptions. Mind your own business, Su Jintang replied calmly, his hand piercing through the ball of light, gripping it tightly, and pulling down the red flag. Points plus 10,000. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for successfully reaching the top of the list. The joint examination red list will soon be updated. The broadcast echoed throughout the entire joint examination simulation battlefield. Su Jintang's name flashed red, soaring to the top of the list. The red flag has been pulled down. This joint examination is now over. All candidates will be automatically teleported out of the simulation battlefield in 5 seconds. The red flag has been pulled down. This joint examination is now over. Chapter 35. Su Jintang, holding the red flag, slowly plummeted from the sky, landing smoothly. The chaotic battle erupted as everyone stopped, their gazes simultaneously turning to Su Jintang. The red flag had been pulled down, the outcome was decided, with no chance of reversal. Naturally, no one bothered to fight anymore. They just hadn't expected that the red flag, which so many had been eyeing, would be snatched away by Su Jintang. Shui Zhongqi's face darkened, as he stared intently at Su Jintang, probably wondering how this person could possess so many inscribed runes. Yuan Yao snorted coldly, put away her ice shield, and walked to Jing Yuanjing's side. How interesting, the top scorer in this year's joint examination isn't even a student from our Imperial-affiliated academy. Jing Yuanzheng maintained his gentle smile, congratulating Su Jintang. Congratulations. You're too kind, Su Jintang replied with a smile. The 5-second countdown ended, and all examinees were teleported out of the simulated battlefield. The rankings of everyone were locked at the same time. Inside the simulated combat room, the expressions of Zhuang Silin and the other 5 military academy instructors were quite subtle. Until Shirlikong spoke with a smile. This result is truly unexpected. However, Su Jintang's sudden appearance of so many inscription runes at the end was indeed unexpected. Isn't she an examinee from a lower-level star region? She's actually willing to spend tens of thousands of star coins to buy level 1 inscriptions? There's a possibility. Could she also be an inscription master? The military academy instructor who raised this thought regretted it as soon as he said it. Everyone knows Su Jintang's ability is a domain-type support ability. But the necessary condition for becoming an inscription master is awakening a star attribute ability. Another military academy teacher speculated, I guess this might be Su Jintang's trump card prepared specifically for the joint entrance exam. The joint entrance exam is conducted in a simulated battlefield, meaning the inscription runes won't be consumed in the end. After she uses these runes for this exam, she can resell them, so the cost isn't actually that high. Sure, Lekong nodded. That's a more plausible explanation. Zhuang Silin didn't think much of it and stood up first. All right, let's go greet the examinees. Let's go, let's go. Sure, Lekong smiled and stood up, following Zhuang Silin out of the simulated combat area. Inside the joint entrance exam area, all the examinees were staring at Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan. From the beginning, everyone knew these two came from a lower-level star region. Although they were on the honor roll, not many people paid them much attention. It wasn't until their rankings rose higher and their reputations became increasingly shady that people stopped their contempt and began to treat them with caution. Unexpectedly, they still managed to snatch the prize. Su Jintang, noticing the various probing gazes around her, coughed lightly and silently straightened her back. Wei Zixuan, standing beside her, also looked proud, ramrod straight. At this moment, Zhuang Silin and the other 5 military academy instructors entered the examination area one after another. First of all, congratulations to everyone for successfully completing this joint examination. Your rankings were automatically locked when you exited the simulation battlefield. These rankings will be the most important reference data for your future military academy applications. Soon, a student raised their hand and asked, "Teacher, some of us were unlucky, our points were stolen halfway through, and we were eliminated early from the joint examination. Is there a chance for a retake?" Zhuang Silin's gaze fell on the candidate. Being eliminated early is due to your lack of ability. But as I just said, the ranking points will only be the primary reference data. Your own abilities and other comprehensive qualities will also be considered. 2 days later, the specific ranking points will be published online. All candidates should complete their military academy application forms within the next week based on their rankings. At this point, Zhuang Silin's gaze shifted to Su Jintang, a smile appearing on her face. Congratulations to candidate Su Jintang for winning first place in this joint examination. As for the other 9 candidates on the top list, you will all have the qualification to directly choose to attend one of the 5 major military academies. You can choose whichever academy you wish to attend based on your personal circumstances and preferences. Please submit your choices to the Military Academy Command Center before this week. The surrounding candidates showed expressions of envy. This is too good. 5 top military academies to choose from. No need to worry about being assigned to another one after filling out the application. Oh well, it's our own fault for not being as good. These 10 people on the joint entrance exam honor roll, none of them are easy to offend. Under the envious gazes of the crowd, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan turned and left. After leaving the examination area, Jing Yuanzhen took the initiative to look at Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan. Which military academy are you two planning to apply to? Yuan Yao on the other side also silently cast a glance at them. Su Jintang answered without hesitation, Lekdas. Wei Zixuan chuckled, that's too much of a coincidence, I'm also applying to Lekdas. Yuan Yao snorted, what a load of rubbish. If you have the ability, who wouldn't want to apply to the top military academy? So Wan Yao is also applying to Lekdas? Su Jintang turned to look. Yuan Yao was taken aback, then retorted, who's your sister? Don't call me that. But I really do want to sign up for Lekdas. Su Jintang calculated the dates, I'm 16 this year. Yuan Yao immediately added, me too. My birthday is in November, Su Jintang continued. Yuan Yao fell silent. Jing Yuanzheng smiled and said, Io's birthday is in December, so Jintang is indeed older. Io, you flatter me, Su Jintang said with a slight smile, clasping her hands in a fist salute. Yuan Yao, with a straight face, crossed her arms and turned to the front of the group, beginning to adopt a cold and aloof persona. Shui Zhongqi, fanning himself with a folding fan, squeezed next to Su Jintang with a smile. If that's the case, then I have to call you Sister Jintang. Brother Rong, may I ask, where did you get those 60-odd inscribed talismans? As far as I know, the production of inscribed talismans in the lower star regions is not high. Buying so many at once, ordering from the Star Network, wouldn't be easy, right? As he said this, a deep meaning flashed in Shui Zhongqi's eyes as he looked at Su Jintang probingly. However, Su Jintang didn't respond at all. Guess, and I tell you if you guess right, Su Jintang replied with a smile. Shui Zhongqi's smile froze, and his lips twitched. If I could guess right, why would I be asking you? The annual All-Star Region Joint Examination competition had ended, and the list of the top 10 on the honor roll was spread to all star regions at top speed. FM 795 Lower Star Region, Dawn Academy. Am I seeing things? Am I hallucinating? This, the name of the top scorer in the joint entrance exam, is Su Jintang? Jian Lu, stammering, grabbed Huang Binhan's collar and demanded an answer. Huang Binhan nodded, beaming, and said, you're not mistaken, it's Su Jintang. Our college has produced the top scorer in the joint examination this year. Quick! Go tell the dean no. Jian Lu excitedly ran out of the office. I go tell him myself. A few minutes later, Dean Wang excitedly slammed his fist on the table. That's wonderful. Quickly put up a notice and banner to share this good news with the other students. That day, A red banner was hung throughout Chinxi Academy, proclaiming, "Congratulations to our student Su Jintang for winning first place in the All-Starfield Joint Examination Competition." Every student who saw this banner showed an expression of shock. A student from our lower-level star region actually got first place in the joint exam? Senior sister has really brought honor to our academy. First place in the joint exam. That's first place. I heard that senior sister Jintang is also a supportability user. Our supportability users finally have a chance to shine. After the joint exam concluded, the rush to fill out college applications quickly followed. When news of Su Jintang's first place finish reached Dawn Academy, the grade director, Lu Hongfang, immediately took a spaceship to the Federation Star region that very night. "Your college application is crucial. The academy sent me to accompany you." Upon meeting, Lu Hongfang greeted her with a broad smile, his voice much more friendly than before, a stark contrast to his previous serious dean persona. Su Jintang chuckled twice. "Director, I decided to apply to Rectas." "Rectas?" Lu Hongfang beamed with pride, patting Su Jintang's shoulder heavily. "Good, ambitious. As expected of my student. By the way, your homeroom teacher, Lao Lu, has to substitute teach this time, so he can't come to congratulate you in person. He asked me to pass on a message for you. He said, no matter what difficulties you encounter in the future, Chinxi Academy will always be your most loyal support." Su Jintang smiled and nodded, "Okay." In the days following the joint entrance exam, many students' families came to help them with their college application decisions. She seemed quite lonely. However, Lu Hongfang's arrival dispelled her sadness. A week later, Su Jintang submitted her college application, her only choice, Recta's Military Academy. As she left the Military Academy's command center, she ran into Zhuang Silin. "Teacher Zhuang." Su Jintang quickened her pace. Zhuang Silin stopped, turned around, and seeing it was Su Jintang, smiled. "You become quite famous these past few days. Many Military Academy teachers and students have been talking about you. What are your thoughts?" Su Jintang scratched her head, still looking quite modest. "It's alright, just normal." Zhuang Silin shook her head helplessly. "What do you need me for?" Su Jintang took out the long-stored name tag for temporary students from her bracelet space. "Teacher Zhuang, you can return this now." Zhuang Silin took the name tag, smiling at her. "Congratulations, and welcome to our Lakitas." A few days later, the notification letter bearing the Lecta's Military Academy insignia was delivered to Su Jintang by drone. The package also contained a Lecta's Military Academy student identification tag and 2 sets of dark blue military uniforms. The uniforms were very stylish. Both boys and girls wore identical white short-sleeved shirts and blue trousers, topped with a well-tailored dark blue military jacket. Su Jintang eagerly changed into her school uniform, pinning her Military Academy badge to her shoulder. Just then, a knock sounded at the door. "Sister Jintang, let's go register together tomorrow." Su Jintang went to the door, opened it, and Wei Zixuan appeared outside. He too had changed into his military school uniform, looking much more energetic than usual. "We can register tomorrow?" Su Jintang was stunned. Wei Zixuan nodded, taking out his admission notice from his uniform pocket. "You haven't read the notice yet, have you? It says that Military Academy students from other star regions can register and check into their dormitories tomorrow." Su Jintang glanced at the notice. "I see. Okay, then let's go register tomorrow." After agreeing on the registration time, the two of them left the dormitory area and arrived at the entrance of the command center base. After waiting for a short while, they saw Song Duo running towards them. "I'm here." Song Duo's energetic voice rang out. She ran over and stopped. "Squad leader, oh no, Jintang, I'm planning to apply to the Red Ridge Military Academy. It's a top-tier academy with decent teaching staff, and I know a senior student there. If I go, I have connections that can help me. What do you think?" Song Duo's joint entrance exam results were decent, but applying to one of the top 5 military academies would be too difficult. Choosing a top-tier academy would be a safer bet. Su Jintang nodded. "I think it's a good idea. The Red Ridge Military Academy's teaching staff and quality are second only to the top 5 military academies, which is quite good. Besides, after graduation, everyone will be joining the army anyway, so it doesn't matter which military academy you attend," Wei Zixuan added from the side. Seeing that both of them approved of her choice, Song Duo felt relieved. "It's a pity that the Crimson Ridge Military Academy is in the Middle Star region. We'd be in different places for a long time afterward. Keep in touch. Don't worry, second sister, we're all sisters. We definitely won't forget you." Wei Zixuan patted Song Duo on the back cheerfully. That evening, the three of them went to Liangxiang's high restaurant again. Remembering their previous experience of being late due to drunkenness, this time the three didn't dare drink too much, cautiously indulging in small sips. The next morning, golden sunlight streamed into the room through the window. Su Jintang changed into her military uniform and walked out of the command center base with a spirited air. Upon arriving at the base entrance, she quickly saw Wei Zixuan waiting by the railing. Su Jintang walked towards him. Let's go. The two turned around tacitly and walked out of the base. Half an hour later, Su Jintang and her group arrived at the entrance of the Recta's military academy. Lu Hongfang and another academy teacher, who had come to see them off, both wore expressions of deep emotion. The children have grown up. They might become even more powerful than us someday. The speaker was this other academy teacher. He also came from the FM 795 lower star region. This time, their star region had produced 2 students who ranked in the top 10 of the joint examination, so their academy was naturally very excited. Therefore, he and Lu Hongfang had come a few days ago. Teachers, we're going in to report, Su Jintang said, turning to the 2 teachers. Lu Hongfang smiled and waved his hand. Go ahead. Watching Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan's figures gradually shrink until they disappeared, Lu Hongfang and the other teacher turned away. The 2 teachers exchanged a knowing smile. Come on, let's have a drink to celebrate. They immediately linked arms and turned to leave. My parents are really something else. It's such a big deal for me to report to military academy, and they didn't even come to see me off. They're not even as good as our academy teachers. Wei Zixuan suddenly complained, as if remembering something. Su Jintang glanced at him, a hint of surprise in her expression. So you have parents? Wei Zixuan, sis, what are you saying? Don't you have any? I don't. Su Jintang replied frankly. Family ties are something you only truly feel the pain and sorrow of losing after you experience them. And since she had been an orphan since childhood, she naturally couldn't understand the pain of losing family. Wei Zixuan froze, unable to recover for a long time, unsure how to respond. He stammered, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Su Jintang didn't seem to care, continuing to walk forward, muttering, no wonder it's the top military academy, the campus is quite large. Seeing that Su Jintang didn't seem to care at all, Wei Zixuan breathed a sigh of relief and quickly caught up with her. I heard that the dorms at Recta's are more luxurious than those at other military academies. The 2 quickly arrived at the Academic Affairs office to report. The teacher at the Academic Affairs office saw their information, and their eyes lit up instantly. They looked up with surprise and looked at the 2. This semester's summer vacation still has a month to go, but since you're from another star system, the military academy has given you a special privilege, allowing you to move into the dorms directly during the vacation. I arrange it for you. 15 minutes later, Su Jintang and Wei Zixuan parted ways downstairs at the dormitory building. Su Jintang entered the girls' dormitory building alone. The building had 68 floors, each with its own common area, including a lounge, training area, simulated battlefield, and other facilities. Su Jintang arrived on the 18th floor, found her dormitory number, swiped her room card, and with a beep, the door opened. The room was a north-south facing unit with excellent sunlight throughout the living room. In addition to a bedroom, there was a private bathroom and a training room. The room was very soundproof, and the door had a security lock, allowing for undisturbed training. Ah, so comfortable, Su Jintang murmured, eyes slightly closed, nestled in the living room sofa. After a short rest, her communicator vibrated. It was Wei Zixuan calling. Su Jintang sat up and answered the video call. A miniature figure immediately appeared before her, a scaled-down version of Wei Zixuan himself. Sister Jintang, I heard some important news. You must have heard of the Military Academy League held every 5 years, right? Wei Zixuan's voice was tinged with excitement. Su Jintang hesitated for a moment. I have heard of it. The Interstellar Military Academy League is held only once every 5 years, and the rankings in each competition directly affect the military academy's overall ranking. For example, the current top 5 military academies are the top 5 winners of the previous Military Academy League. And the reason why Recta's has been able to maintain its title as the #1 military academy for so many years is precisely because they have consistently won the Military Academy League. Wei Zixuan revealed a mysterious smile. We're the freshmen this year, which means we'd be able to participate in the Military Academy League in 3 years. I wonder if we have a chance to join in the fun. There are still 3 years left. What's the rush? Su Jintang remained relatively calm. After hanging up the call, Su Jintang got up and left her dormitory, wandering around the campus. At this time, the Military Academy students were still on holiday, and there were hardly any people on campus. After wandering around for a while, feeling bored, Su Jintang left the school alone. In an alley opposite the headquarters of the Federal Inscription Masters Association. Su Jintang quietly took out a disguise mask and put it on. In an instant, her face and body structure underwent a dramatic change, transforming from a delicate young girl into a tall and spirited beauty. Brother Long, how do I look with this face and this aura? Even her voice became more mature and sophisticated. Ice Soul Dragon, not bad. Planning to go to the Inscription Masters Association to find out about your ability? Su Jintang nodded. I feel more at ease if I find out sooner. She had been keeping her second ability to herself for a long time. If she weren't afraid of the trouble it would cause if it were exposed, she would have already been asking around. The disguise mask's effect was impervious to those below the 6th rank of ability users. She had learned that the highest-ranking member of the association was currently Chairman Sun, a peak 5th rank expert. Her disguise should be safe for now. Su Jintang emerged from the alley and entered the headquarters of the Federal Inscription Master Association. "Hello, how can I help you?" The receptionist greeted Su Jintang with a smile. Su Jintang leaned against the counter. "I'd like to inquire about the requirements for joining." The receptionist paused for a moment, a glint of light appearing in their eyes. "You're an inscription master?" Su Jintang gave a soft "I'm currently proficient in creating first-level inscriptions, so I guess I qualify as an inscription master." "Of course." The staff member's smile became incredibly respectful, and he bowed slightly, gesturing for her to enter. "This way, please." I immediately notified the relevant personnel to arrange your internal inscription master assessment. Su Jintang was quickly ushered into the association's assessment area. Upon entering, Su Jintang saw a familiar face. Shui Zhongqi and an elderly man were working on something at an inscription workbench. "President Sun, there's a level 1 inscription master here who wants to participate in the membership assessment," the staff member explained. Sun Yuantian turned around, and seeing Su Jintang's unfamiliar face, asked curiously, "Has this young lady taken classes here before?" Generally speaking, even after awakening a star attribute ability, inscription masters still need continuous practice and research to successfully create their first inscription talisman. Therefore, many inscription masters attend classes at their association for a period of time before officially passing the assessment. Shui Zhongqi also turned his gaze towards them. Under the effect of the disguise, he clearly didn't recognize her. Su Jintang cleared her throat. "Can't I participate in the assessment if I haven't attended classes?" "Of course not," Sun Yuan replied with a smile. "But I'm afraid you'd be at a disadvantage if you participate in the assessment without attending classes. Our association's assessment is quite difficult. Many inscription masters have to take it 3 or 4 times to pass." Su Jintang pursed her lips and quickly continued, "What kind of content do you usually test?" Sun Yuan thought for a moment before answering: mental energy thread connection, array diagram inscription, and inscription attribute addition. Each of these 3 assessments is extremely difficult and requires a lot of time for training and study. At this point, he suddenly sighed. "Back then, it took me a whole year to successfully create my first inscription." Su Jintang's eyes widened. "How long?" "A year?" Shui Zhongqi smiled reassuringly. "To successfully create your first inscription in just 1 year, your talent surpasses many others." Sun Yuantian patted Shui Zhongqi's shoulder, speaking earnestly. "Zhongqi, you are the most talented student I've seen in all these decades. To have completely mastered inscription techniques in just 6 months, I have high hopes for you. You will definitely become a top-tier level 8 inscription master." Su Jintang was shocked again. 6 months, and he's the most talented student? She finally realized that her inscription speed was completely different from normal people's. A staff member nearby, seeing that the two had finished talking, reminded them, "President Sun, what about this one?" Sun Yuantian then remembered that there were still people present. He stopped smiling and looked at Su Jintang. "Young lady, since you want to try the assessment, let the staff arrange it for you the day after tomorrow. You know the specific difficulty after you try it yourself." Su Jintang regained her composure. "Okay, the day after tomorrow it is." After the arrangement was made, the staff immediately led Su Jintang to the back to register her identity information. Su Jintang held a pen, hesitated for a moment at the name field, and then filled in a new name, Jian Duo. The Inscription Master Association was more like an interest group. It didn't strictly investigate the identity information of each inscription master, nor did it force them to register their real identities. The staff glanced at her information and nodded in agreement. "The assessment is scheduled for 8 a.m. the day after tomorrow. Please don't be late." "Okay, thank you." After registering, Su Jintang left the Inscription Master Association. Just as she was about to leave, Shui Zhongqi's voice sounded behind her. "Please wait, young lady." Chapter 36. Shui Zhongqi caught up with Su Jintang, smiling as he took out his folding fan and waved it, striking a dashing pose. "Let me introduce myself first. I'm Shui Zhongqi, and I officially joined the association half a year ago, becoming a level 1 inscription master. Since you're also interested in joining, we might see each other often in the future. How about we exchange contact numbers for easy communication?" Su Jintang hesitated for a moment. "No need, I don't like making friends." With that, she turned and walked past Shui Zhongqi, continuing on her way. Shui Zhongqi smiled, watching Su Jintang's figure gradually disappear into the distance. She never attended any of the association's internal classes, yet she immediately signed up for the assessment. If she wasn't absolutely confident in herself, then she was simply ignorant and fearless, completely unaware of the difficulty of the Inscription Master assessment. Shui Zhongqi shook his folding fan. "Oh well, he come to the assessment the day after tomorrow, and see for himself. That way, he know what level this girl was at." After leaving the Inscription Masters Association, Su Jintang walked quite a distance before removing her disguise mask. She breathed a sigh of relief and, taking advantage of the quiet surroundings, quickly stored the mask back in her bracelet storage space, then turned and headed towards the military academy. Upon returning to the academy, she unfortunately bumped into Shui Zhongqi again. "Hey, isn't this our Jin Tang, the top student in the joint entrance exam?" Shui Zhongqi greeted her with a smile. Su Jintang immediately frowned. Why was this guy wandering around like that? I have something to do. Let's talk later. After saying goodbye, she quickly turned and left. Shui Zhongqi, once again feeling ignored, began to wonder. Did he look that scary today? Why did everyone run away when they saw him? Back in her dormitory, Su Jintang finally felt relieved. She figured no one had discovered her. She went to her cultivation room and retrieved the assessment manual given to her by the Inscription Master Association staff. The manual detailed the assessment to be conducted the day after tomorrow, giving Su Jintang 2 more days to review. First item, connecting spiritual threads. Simply put, it involves condensing one's spiritual energy into threads and then injecting them into an inscription pen, allowing for the creation of freely connected patterns. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. She had learned this on her first day and didn't need to review. She turned directly to the next page. Second item, inscription of array diagrams. Using spiritual energy threads to trace and inscribe array diagrams. Su Jintang, she learned that too. Finally, adding inscription attributes. Adding the attribute elements from spiritual plants to the semi-finished inscription ore. Su Jintang closed the assessment manual and said seriously, Brother Long, I think I'm a genius now. Soul Dragon pondered for a moment. I think the reason you can become a genius comes more from that Libra ability. Su Jintang calmed down again. That was true. During the inscription process, she could feel that it was because her stellar attribute spiritual power was strong and abundant that the inscription went exceptionally smoothly. She could even sense that the elemental attributes were somewhat afraid of her spiritual power, so there were basically no major accidents when she added attributes to the inscriptions. Therefore, she was even more curious about what this second ability was all about. For the next 2 days, Su Jintang hardly went out except to eat, focusing on practicing how to slow down her inscription making speed. The day of the Inscription Master internal assessment had arrived. Su Jintang left the school early in the morning, donned a disguise mask, and swaggered into the Inscription Master Association headquarters. There were more people in the association today than last time. Many were chatting and laughing in the assessment area. It seemed they were all inscription masters there to participate in the assessment. I heard Brother Jiang only spent 3 months learning the spiritual thread linking technique. His comprehension speed truly makes me ashamed of myself. The man being praised waved his hand. Even at his fastest, he can't outpace Shui Zhongqi. He studied for half a year and created his first inscription. I can't even catch up to that talent. Sigh. Over the years, the Inscription Master Association has only produced one genius like Shui Zhongqi. We shouldn't compare ourselves to him, but to ourselves. Any progress is good. Su Jintang stood discreetly to the side, listening and gathering information from various sources. Until Sun Yuantian led a group of staff into the assessment area, announcing, all prospective inscription masters, please take your seats and prepare. The internal inscription master assessment will begin in half an hour. Upon Chairman Sun's arrival, the inscription masters dispersed to find their seats. Su Jintang was the last to be added to the assessment. Her seat was assigned to the very last one, in the most inconspicuous corner. After sitting down, her gaze quickly swept over the items on the table. 10 attribute-less primal stones, 10 snow spirit grasses, that was all. An inscription pen was essentially an inscription master's weapon. Naturally, the one they were most familiar with was best. Therefore, inscription masters usually brought their own inscription pens for the assessment. The examination hall wouldn't provide any extras. First of all, welcome to our association's internal inscription master examination. I am Sun Yuantian, and also the acting president of this association. I will be the chief examiner for this examination, responsible for maintaining discipline throughout. There are 25 minutes left before the examination begins. You can use this time to review. Once the examination starts, you will not be allowed to consult any materials. The inscription masters immediately adjusted their posture, took out their inscription pens, and neatly placed them on the table, waiting for the examination to begin. As the most important auxiliary tool for creating inscriptions, most inscription masters spend a lot of money to have high-quality inscription pens custom-made to perfectly suit their needs. Su Jintang looked at everyone around her pulling out incredibly expensive inscription pens, and her expression suddenly became a little awkward. The girl at the next table had an inscription pen that was clearly custom-made. Its quality was at least tens of thousands of star coins. And the boy at the table in front of her had an inscription pen that even glowed. Su Jintang coughed lightly and silently took out her second-hand inscription pen and placed it on the table. Fortunately, her seat was in the far corner, and no one noticed what was happening. At that moment, Shui Zhongqi, arriving late, walked into the assessment area, fanning himself with a folding fan. Teacher, he greeted Sun Yuantian with a smile. You come at the right time. The assessment is about to begin. Stay and see if there are any promising new talents worth nurturing, Sun Yuantian told him. Shui Zhongqi nodded quickly, understood. The other examinees, witnessing this scene, couldn't help but show envy in their eyes. Shui Zhongqi possessed the best inscription talent in recent decades. Judging from Chairman Sun's attitude, he's definitely grooming him to be the future successor of the association. Upon seeing it was him again, Su Jintang quickly lowered her head, resting her hand on her temple, feigning deep thought. Miss, we meet again. Shui Zhongqi's voice reached her ears. Knowing there was no way to avoid it, Su Jintang could only force a smile, nod at him, and offer a greeting. Shui Zhongqi's gaze lowered, sweeping over the second-hand inscription pen on Su Jintang's desk. Realizing it was just a very basic inscription pen, his expression froze. Such a basic inscription pen, virtually no inscription master would use it for an assessment. Does this girl completely lack knowledge of inscriptions, or is she genuinely very confident? A probing look appeared in Shui Zhongqi's eyes as he looked at Su Jintang, but he didn't say anything, pretending not to see anything, silently turning away to look elsewhere. Su Jintang shifted her posture, took a deep breath, calmed her mind, and waited for the assessment to begin. Another 20 minutes passed. Sun Yuantian immediately announced, the internal assessment for inscription masters officially begins. The first test is a time test, connecting spiritual threads. Complete 10 spiritual threads within half an hour. As his voice rang out, all the inscription masters present lowered their heads, solemnly picking up their inscription pens to prepare for the assessment. Su Jintang, keeping her head down, discreetly observed the inscription masters around her out of the corner of her eye. The girl at the next table had already poured spiritual energy into her inscription pen, but after a long while, despite holding her breath and concentrating as if using all her strength, she still couldn't condense a single spiritual thread. Su Jintang silently shook her head, and then turned her gaze to the boy at the table in front of her. The boy, holding the inscribed pen, appeared slightly calmer. He had already drawn a complete thread of spiritual energy at the tip of the pen. He calmly began preparing to draw the second thread, but this time, things didn't go so smoothly. Just as the thread was about to take shape, it suddenly broke in the middle, meaning the connection had failed. A hint of regret crossed the boy's face. He shook his head, and had to start over. After observing the two boys' actions, Su Jintang had a general idea of what to expect. The assessment required completing the connection of 10 spiritual energy threads within half an hour to pass. She just needed to submit her paper on time. There was still plenty of time, so Su Jintang wasn't in a hurry. At about 3 minutes, she quickly completed the first spiritual energy thread connection. By the 10th minute, she had just completed 4 spiritual energy threads within the time limit. At this moment, Sun Yuantian finally noticed Su Jintang's performance. He walked over with a smile, hands behind his back, and stood silently beside Su Jintang, observing her performance without saying a word. Su Jintang pursed her lips, pondered for a moment, then looked troubled. Her hand holding the pen trembled slightly, and the connecting strands of mental energy she was creating showed signs of breaking. Sun Yuantian frowned quickly, about to speak up to remind her, but then remembered that this was an assessment, and giving a hint would not be fair. He could only remain silent, and continue observing Su Jintang's performance. Fortunately, Su Jintang steadied herself at the last moment, and the strands of mental energy in her hand solidified again. A few seconds later, the strands were successfully completed. Sun Yuantian nodded in satisfaction, glancing at the examinee's name on the table, Qian Duoduo. After noting the name, he turned and left to inspect the performance of the other inscription masters. Chapter 37. Su Jintang, who had been pretending all along, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Her previously tense nerves immediately relaxed, and the unstable thread of mental energy in her hand instantly solidified. However, there was still plenty of time. After thinking for a moment, Su Jintang decided to discard the thread of mental energy and start over. The assessment ends in 10 minutes, Sun Yuantian reminded her. Hearing this, the inscription master candidates present felt even more pressured, focusing their entire attention even more intently. Seeing everyone around her looking on edge, Su Jintang had no choice but to join them, focusing intently on the thread of mental energy at the tip of her pen. Time ticked by, and Su Jintang quietly sighed. This was the first time she had felt that creating inscriptions was so tiring. In this half hour, she could have made several inscription talismans. With only 3 minutes remaining, Su Jintang couldn't hold on any longer. No longer deliberately procrastinating, she completed the connection of the remaining 4 spiritual energy threads in one go. After finishing, she exhaled and pressed the bell on the table. The internal assessments for inscription masters are monitored in real time. Su Jintang's assessment had just been recorded by the satellite monitoring system on the table. As soon as she pressed the bell, the satellite monitoring system immediately began calculating the scores. A light screen popped up in front of her, displaying the following message: Candidate, Qian Duoduo. The first assessment, connecting the spiritual energy threads, has been completed. taking 27 minutes and 14 seconds. Sun Yuantian and Shui Zhongqi received the notification from the monitoring system at the same time. The two exchanged a surprised glance, and then turned their gaze to Su Jintang in the last row. Normally, even if an inscription master could pass the assessment, they would always finish right on time. But this Qian Duo managed to finish 3 minutes early, a very impressive achievement. Shui Zhongqi closed his folding fan, nodded, and his smile widened. His judgment was indeed accurate. This girl was definitely hiding some strength. With the last 3 minutes of the assessment over, the other inscription masters were all finishing their final spiritual connection right on time. After one round of assessments, only 20 out of the 50-odd inscription master candidates had passed. The remaining inscription masters who failed can leave now. We will begin the second assessment in half an hour, Sun Yuantian said. The inscription masters who failed showed regret, stood up one after another, shook their heads, and left the examination hall, their figures looking dejected. The 20 inscription masters who remained in the examination hall all wore expressions of joy. The girl at the next table also stayed. Noticing Su Jintang's gaze, she smiled and walked over. Sister, I saw your score just now. You finished the assessment 3 minutes early. You're amazing. Su Jintang paused, then chuckled dryly. It's alright. But why is there a half-hour gap between the assessments? Su Jintang asked. The girl hesitated for a moment. Because we all used up a lot of mental energy in the first assessment, this half hour is for us to recover. Su Jintang slapped her forehead, almost forgetting about the girl's abundant mental energy. Look at my brain, I forgot about that. Let's not waste any more time. Let's quickly recover our mental energy. Okay. The girl nodded, returned to her seat, and began to slowly recover her mental energy, holding her breath. Soon, the other inscription master examinees around her did the same. Su Jintang followed suit, beginning to recover her already minimal mental energy. In just a few minutes, her mental energy was fully restored. Perhaps because her mental sea was larger, her mental energy processing speed seemed faster than others, recovering at roughly twice the speed of others. After waiting quite a while, Sun Yuantian and the other staff returned to the assessment area. Second assessment, array diagram inscription. Limited to 10 raw stones. Complete the inscription of an array diagram and successfully create a level 1 basic inscription. There is no time limit for this round of assessment. Su Jintang glanced down at the 10 attribute-less raw stones on the table. This round of assessment, simply put, meant 10 chances. A successful inscription on just one attempt was enough to pass. She rubbed her hands together, finally mustering her interest. Just like the previous round, she first observed the progress of the other examinees around her, getting a general idea before officially beginning her inscription. At her normal inscription speed, she could now create a basic inscription within half an hour. But judging from the performance of the other examinees, this speed was clearly a bit too exaggerated. Su Jintang pursed her lips, inscribing, while discreetly observing the progress of the examinees around her. 20 minutes later, as her first inscription was about to take shape, a hazy glow emanated from the surface of the raw stone. This immediately attracted the attention of Sun Yuantian and Shui Zhongqi. Both of them were stunned for a moment, and even glanced at the time. The assessment had only been going on for less than half an hour, and someone was already about to successfully inscribe it. Feeling the surprised gazes around her, Su Jintang immediately severed the spiritual energy threads, forcibly scrapping the raw stone. Noticing this, Sun Yuantian shook his head, with a hint of regret. Judging from the situation just now, this examinee should have been able to successfully inscribe it almost immediately, but she slacked off at the last moment. Shui Zhongqi pondered for a while, feeling that something was amiss. He stopped checking on the other examinees, and simply stood directly beside Su Jintang's table, carefully watching her as she began to create the inscription for the second stone, stroke by stroke. This time, with someone watching, Su Jintang dared not resort to her usual tactic of forcibly scrapping it, and could only slow down her inscription speed. A full 40 minutes passed, and Shui Zhongqi remained in the same spot, staring intently at the raw stone in Su Jintang's hand, not turning away for a moment. Having dragged it out until now, Su Jintang knew that she couldn't continue to hide her abilities this time. She coughed lightly, and slowly added the final stroke to the array diagram. In an instant, the inscription took shape, emitting a dazzling white light. Shui Zhongqi's eyes widened in disbelief. You can complete the creation of an inscription in 40 minutes? His voice rose unconsciously in shock. This shout immediately summoned Sun Yuantian. Sun Yuantian hurried over, looking at the completed inscription on Su Jintang's table with astonishment. Miss, did you just make this? Now it was all Shui Zhongqi's fault for insisting on standing by and watching, otherwise, she wouldn't have made such a fuss. Su Jintang took a deep breath, calmed herself slightly, and scratched her head with a smile. This was quite unexpected. Maybe because of the assessment, my concentration was high, and I managed to complete it so quickly. At this moment, the satellite monitoring system beside her calculated Su Jintang's score. Examinee, Qian Duo. The second assessment, the array diagram inscription, is complete. taking 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 54 seconds. This was even after she voluntarily discarded her first raw stone, otherwise, the time would have been halved. Sun Yuantian picked up the inscription talisman on the table in surprise, checked it repeatedly, and only returned it to Su Jintang after confirming there were no problems. Congratulations, you passed the second assessment. Shui Zhongqi still stared at Su Jintang with suspicion, seemingly trying to find something different in her expression. When he participated in the Inscription Master assessment, he also discarded 3 raw stones in the second assessment before successfully inscribing a single inscription talisman. And it took him 2 hours. But this girl broke his record effortlessly. Soon, the other Inscription Master examinees around also noticed the commotion. The pressure was already immense, and seeing such a prodigy among the other candidates only intensified the tension. The atmosphere in the examination hall grew increasingly heavy. Su Jintang, who had finished his assessment long ago, had nothing to do but sit in his seat, chin in hand, glancing around at the other candidates' performance. He endured this until the last candidate squandered his 10th primal stone. The candidate's eyes dimmed, he shook his head, knowing he had failed the assessment as well. By this time, it was already dark outside. 5 hours had passed. Exhausted from waiting, Su Jintang had fallen asleep on his desk. Sun Yuantian glanced at the sleeping Su Jintang. Ahem, the last candidate at the last table, wake up. The girl at the next table quickly stood up and patted Su Jintang's arm. Sister, the exam is over. Su Jintang sat up abruptly, her mind instantly clearing. She quickly adjusted her posture. Sun Yuantian surveyed the room and announced, 3 inscription masters have passed this round of assessments. Considering time constraints, the 3rd round of assessments will be held tomorrow morning. Those who did not pass, please continue your efforts. You are welcome to apply again next time. Su Jintang was stunned. Today had almost exhausted her. Did she have to endure another morning of this tomorrow? She rubbed her temples, looking exasperated, stood up, sighed, put away her inscription pen, and turned to leave the examination room. Sun Yuantian and Shui Zhongqi exchanged a glance. Shui Zhongqi walked over. Teacher, this Miss Qian was clearly holding back during today's assessment. Why do you think she did that? Sun Yuantian slapped his forehead helplessly. Do you think everyone is as flamboyant as you? But, he changed the subject. If this candidate passes tomorrow's assessment smoothly, I plan to invite her to participate in the competition with you in 5 months. What do you think? Shui Zhongqi hesitated. She definitely has the ability. If we can have her participate, our association's chances of winning will naturally be much higher. Sun Yuantian walked out of the assessment area with his hands behind his back. Then it's settled for now. Chapter 38. The next morning, Su Jintang arrived at the Inscription Master Association on time to participate in the final assessment, Inscription Attribute Edition. There were only 3 people in the examination room today. Su Jintang sat in the middle. Having already revealed her strength yesterday, she completed the Attribute Edition assessment at a normal pace. Examinee, Qian Duo Duo. The 3rd assessment, Inscription Attribute Edition, is complete, taking 43 minutes and 20 seconds. When the assessment completion screen popped up, the 2 Inscription Master examinees beside her were stunned. The inscriptions they were creating were ruined in that moment of distraction. Sun Yuantian reminded them, other examinees, concentrate and continue the assessment. After speaking, he went to Su Jintang's examination seat, bent down, and picked up the attribute-added inscription talisman on the table. He placed it under the light, carefully examining it before nodding in satisfaction. Not bad. Congratulations on successfully passing the 3 tests for Inscription Masters and officially becoming a member of our association. Also, Miss Qian, may I have 2 minutes of your time? Sun Yuantian smiled and extended the invitation. Su Jintang looked up, her gaze questioning. Did the president want to see me about something? Sun Yuantian shook his head and smiled. I can't bear the title of president, I'm at most an acting president. This way, Miss Qian, let's go inside and talk. Su Jintang hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Okay. She had heard the staff mention President Sun's title a few times when she came to the association yesterday. They said that President Sun was originally only a vice president, but later the president's cultivation hit a bottleneck, forcing him to temporarily go into seclusion to seek a breakthrough. Therefore, before going into seclusion, the original president entrusted the task of acting as president of the association to Sun Yuantian. This acting chairmanship lasted for nearly 5 years. Over time, almost no one in the association referred to him as acting chairman anymore. Everyone simply called him Chairman Sun. Su Jintang followed him into the VIP lounge. Upon entering, she saw Shui Zhongqi sitting inside, striking a cool pose with a folding fan. She turned to Sun Yuantian, Chairman Sun, what's the matter? Please speak frankly. Sun Yuantian's expression turned serious. Zhongqi, this matter also concerns you. Listen to me as well. Shui Zhongqi quickly stood up, closed his fan, and bowed, saying yes. Miss Qian, The reason I invited you here today is to ask if you would be willing to represent our association in the All-Interstellar Inscription Master competition 5 months from now, Sun Yuantian said sincerely. Su Jintang hesitated for a moment. Is this competition only for Inscription Masters? Shui Zhongqi added, that's right, similar to the All-Interstellar Ability User competition, except the Inscription Master competition focuses on inscription speed, success rate, and accuracy, among other things. In the Inscription Master industry, this competition is considered a grand event. Inscription Master associations from various star regions send their best members to participate, all to showcase their association's strength and capabilities to the entire interstellar community. However, there's an age limit. Participants must be under 20. Currently, within our association, only you and I meet the age requirement and possess excellent inscription skills. Sun Yuantian nodded. I believe Miss Qian's abilities go beyond what she's shown on the surface. Since you have such strength, why not compete with other outstanding peers in the competition? This? Su Jintang hesitated. Shui Zhongqi glanced at her and dropped the bombshell. The champion of the Inscription Master competition will receive a whopping 1 million star coins. How much? 1 million. Su Jintang's eyes lit up. President Sun, this competition sounds very interesting. But I never participated in one before, and I'm afraid I won't understand many things. Sun Yuantian smiled. Since Miss Qian is interested, that's easy. Zhongqi has participated in one such competition before. When the Inscription Master competition opens, he will go with you. If you have any questions or anything you don't understand, just ask him. Shui Zhongqi nodded in agreement. With me here, you can rest assured. Su Jintang finally nodded. Okay, then I'm willing to participate. That's wonderful. Miss Qian, don't worry. No matter what your final ranking is, the association will not treat you unfairly. Sun Yuantian immediately promised. Su Jintang cleared her throat. President, I heard the association has some advanced inscription tutorials, and some kind of star attribute spiritual power cultivation technique. This was her ultimate purpose in risking revealing her identity to participate in the membership assessment. Sun Yuantian was taken aback, but immediately understood Su Jintang's intention. He nodded with a smile. Indeed, as the headquarters, our Federation Association naturally possesses the most diverse and highest quality advanced inscription tutorials and specialized cultivation techniques. Shui Zhongqi shook his folding fan, smiling as he sized up Su Jintang. But Miss Qian, what you just mentioned requires contribution points to exchange for. For example, the star attribute spiritual power cultivation technique you mentioned requires at least 100,000 contribution points. How do I get contribution points? Su Jintang asked. Sun Yuantian explained, our association not only has cultivation techniques, but also precious materials that can be used to create inscription runes. However, the association doesn't provide them free of charge. Inscription masters need to complete certain tasks or submit enough inscription runes to exchange for contribution points of corresponding value. Then, they can use these contribution points to exchange for these resources. At this point, a hint of pride appeared on Sun Yuantian's face. This exclusive cultivation technique for stellar attribute spiritual power is indeed extremely beneficial to those with stellar attribute abilities. Currently, only our Federation Association possesses it, but precisely because of this technique is very precious and can only be obtained by those who have made extremely high contributions to the association. Su Jintang understood this. If just anyone could get this technique, then it wouldn't be worth anything. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. If I can win the championship for our association at the Inscription Master Tournament, could I borrow this cultivation technique? Sun Yuantian's eyes lit up, of course. If Miss Qian can really win the championship, you can choose any cultivation technique in the association, as well as any rare and precious materials stored within. This Inscription Master Tournament isn't as simple as you think. I participated last year, and only got 9th place, Shui Zhongqi quietly reminded her from the side. Su Jintang turned her head hesitantly. Aren't you the most talented in the last 10 years or so? You only got 9th place? Shui Zhongqi's lips twitched. The most talented doesn't mean the strongest. I'm only 16 this year, but the age limit for this tournament is 20 and under. Many 19 or 20-year-old participants have been studying inscription for longer than me, so their strength is naturally stronger. Su Jintang stroked her chin. So, Shui Zhongqi achieving 9th place at 16 is quite an impressive result. President, let's discuss this further, Su Jintang replied with a dry laugh. Sun Yuantian didn't press her, explaining with a smile, if you want to exchange for a cultivation technique, you can accumulate 100,000 contribution points. Pay attention to the association's announcements and tasks. Some tasks offer a lot of contribution points. Okay, thank you. After understanding the matters after joining the association, Su Jintang left. Watching Su Jintang leave, Sun Yuantian withdrew his gaze. Zhongqi, in my opinion, this Miss Qian's inscription skills are in no way inferior to yours. Moreover, she's much more low-key than you. You should learn from her. Shui Zhongqi replied with a smile. Indeed, this disciple will have to work hard to learn from Miss Qian in the future. Sun Yuantian nodded in satisfaction. He could tell that Qian Duo was deliberately hiding her true abilities in the assessment. Therefore, this girl's true strength is likely far more astounding than it appears. This led to the idea of actively inviting her to participate. The Federal Inscription Master Association's current status is built upon the outstanding performances of its students in competitions, and this year, it has even unearthed 2 genius inscription masters. In any case, the association has profited. Back at the military academy, Su Jintang went straight to his dormitory and logged into the Inscription Master Association's intranet using his newly registered account. Upon successfully logging in, a task panel popped up, seeking guidance from Inscription Master experts. What to do when consistently failing to refine Demon Beast Inner Core Energy. Task requirements. Guidance via video communication. Task reward. 200 contribution points. What causes frequent breakages during the connection of mental energy threads? Task requirements. Make a phone call via video communication. Task reward. 200 contribution points. Most tasks reward around 200 contribution points. To earn 100,000 contribution points through these tasks, you need to complete about 500. Su Jintang gave up and logged out of the Inscription Master Association's intranet. She should think of a way to win the championship. Although she hadn't found a cultivation technique yet, joining the Inscription Master Association granted members certain privileges to borrow advanced inscription tutorials for free. With nothing else to do, Su Jintang decided to start learning advanced inscription and researching how to create level 2 inscriptions. Brother Long, this tutorial says you need to reach the 2nd tier ability user level to try creating level 2 inscriptions, but my mental strength is already almost the same as a normal 2nd tier ability user. Should I give it a try? Ice Soul Dragon, try it if you want. Anyway, you won't listen to me. After interacting with her for so long, it had long since figured out Su Jintang's temperament. If she wanted to do something, even 800 of them couldn't stop her. Ahem. Su Jintang coughed awkwardly, then I give it a try. With that, she took out the remaining attribute-less raw stones from her bracelet storage space. The process of creating a level 2 inscription was much longer. The precision required for connecting the threads of spiritual energy was also much higher. Even the slightest error would ruin the entire inscription. A few minutes later, Su Jintang experienced her first failure. She frowned, looking at the ruined raw stone powder on the table, lost in thought. Creating a level 2 inscription is indeed not easy. Su Jintang took a deep breath, rallied her spirits, and tried again. Then, she experienced her 2nd and 3rd failures. I refuse to believe I can't even handle a level 2 inscription. Inspired, Su Jintang quickly adjusted her mindset and started over. She spent the entire night struggling with her failures. The next morning, she jumped out of bed, sat at her desk, and continued her inscription attempts. This cycle of failures continued for a week, leaving her with only 1 attribute-less raw stone in her bracelet space. She pursed her lips, her eyes filled with seriousness, and began her final attempt. The first step was connecting the spiritual energy threads. Each thread had to be of uniform thickness, without the slightest error. When connecting 2 threads, they had to fit perfectly, leaving no gaps. The second step was inscribing the array diagram. Comparing the diagram to the steps in the tutorial, she meticulously refined the array diagram step by step. She had to be patient and slow, taking her time. Su Jintang's mind finally calmed down, and she focused all her attention on the raw stone in her hands. An hour and a half later, the level 2 attack inscription floating in the air emitted a bright white light. I finally succeeded. Brother Long. Su Jintang immediately reported the good news. The Ice Soul Dragon sensed the power of the level 2 inscription. Level 2 inscriptions are indeed much stronger. It's not surprising that you failed so many times. The mental energy required to create a level 2 inscription is indeed enormous. A first-tier ability user's mental energy reserves are simply insufficient. Fortunately, Su Jintang was an exception, allowing her to succeed. Su Jintang carefully examined the inscription in her palm. If used properly, 1 level 2 inscription can directly kill a first-tier demonic beast. No wonder it's more expensive. Joining the Inscription Master Association this time was definitely a win. She not only got the advanced inscription tutorial, but also learned about the Star Attribute spiritual power cultivation technique. Time passed day by day. Taking advantage of the relatively free time during the holiday, Su Jintang secretly created quite a few level 2 inscriptions. Level 2 inscriptions were indeed difficult. Her success rate was only 70 to 80%. Over the holiday, she created dozens of them. The week before school started, Su Jintang put on a disguise mask and went out to sell all the inscription talismans she had in stock, netting nearly 120,000 star coins. The holiday ended. The once deserted Recta's military academy became lively. On the first day of school, new students enrolled, and the class assignments were posted on the bulletin board in front of the teaching building. Su Jintang stood on tiptoe, squeezing through the crowd, straining to see the class assignments. Her gaze quickly fell on the first name in the support class, Su Jintang. What the hell? Su Jintang, who ranked first in this year's joint exam, was assigned to the support class. Isn't the support class only for support type ability users? I'm shocked. A support type ability user can get first place in the joint exam? Is there some kind of shady dealing involved? The surrounding chatter didn't affect her mood. Su Jintang withdrew her gaze, turned, and left the crowd. So what if she's a support type? She got first place even as a support type. Su Jintang, hands in her pockets, walked confidently towards the support class. This year, the first-year students were divided into 3 classes: a melee class, a ranged class, and the last one, the support class. Considering that each type of ability user needs to learn different areas, these 4 classes were created to better suit the students' learning needs. Not long after, Su Jintang turned into the teaching building and went to the last classroom for the support class. The classroom was already half full, and the students all looked excited. Even though it was a support class, being admitted to the Lectus Military Academy was enough to prove their abilities were certainly not weak. It's Shui Zhongqi. He's also a support ability user? Suddenly, someone with sharp eyes spotted Shui Zhongqi entering through the door and called out. All eyes in the classroom turned to the doorway. Su Jintang also looked up. A hint of surprise appeared on her face. Oh, isn't this Jintang, little sister? Shui Zhongqi's tone also became surprised when he saw Su Jintang sitting in the last row. Su Jintang sized him up. So you're a support ability user too? Seeing an acquaintance, Shui Zhongqi casually sat down in an empty seat. You used the word also quite cleverly. I reckon Ayao and Jing Yuanzheng will be shocked when they find out you're a support ability user. Su Jintang glanced at him. What classes are you Wan Yao and Jing Yuanzheng in? Shui Zhongqi chuckled, a folding fan he often carried appearing in his hand. Jing Yuanzheng didn't apply to Rectus, he went directly to his military internship. As for Ayao, with her Xuanjia Turtle Ice Shield, she's probably in the melee class. Su Jintang was also a little surprised that Jing Yuanzheng didn't come to Rectus. However, everyone has their own ambitions. She didn't think much of it, looked away, and continued leaning back in her chair, waiting for the homeroom teacher to arrive. Suddenly, the noise in the classroom vanished instantly. The moment the homeroom teacher, Wu Jinghong, walked in, everyone fell silent. Before the start of the semester, many students learned about the formidable nature of teacher Wu Jinghong through the Military Academy's internet forum. In short, every student in her class complained bitterly. It was best to avoid angering her. Wu Jinghong walked expressionlessly to the podium, placed her hands on the surface, and leaned slightly forward. Before class today, the first thing is to elect a class monitor. I won't waste any more time. This year, our class has 2 students who ranked in the top 10 in the joint exam. Su Jintang, Shui Zhongqi stand up. Startled by being called upon, Su Jintang paused for a moment, then quickly stood up. Here. Shui Zhongqi stood up unhurriedly, smiling broadly. Here. Wu Jinghong coldly glanced at the 2. Su Jintang, first in the joint exam, will be the class monitor. Shui Zhongqi, fourth in the joint exam. Do either of you have any objections to being vice class monitor? Su Jintang cleared his throat. I have no objection. Shui Zhongqi maintained his smile. Me neither. At this moment, a voice came from another direction. Teacher, I have an objection. A boy with short black hair stood up, his face stern, and continued, I think that to become class monitor, one must have the approval of all the students in the class. Their outstanding performance in the joint exam doesn't mean they are capable of serving as class monitor and vice class monitor. Chapter 39. Wu Jinghong's gaze swept over the boy. Then tell me, who is suitable to be the class monitor and vice monitor? Su Jintang also turned to look. All eyes in the classroom were on Chao Xingen. He cleared his throat, straightened his back, and said, when I was in academy, I always served as class monitor. I have a lot of experience in building team cohesion. I believe that if I were to be the class monitor, I could definitely create a better learning environment for our class. First of all, Wu Jinghong said coldly, what learning environment? What team cohesion? None of that matters to me. Rectus is a place where strength speaks volumes. Even in the support class, it's whoever is stronger who gets the position. You think Su Jintang and Shui Zhongqi are not suitable for the positions of class monitor and vice monitor, so can I take that as you believing you are stronger than them? Chao Xingen froze for half a second. I didn't mean that. Then you can sit down. Wu Jinghong's gaze swept across the room. Anyone who thinks they are stronger than Su Jintang and Shui Zhongqi can step forward and challenge them now. If not, then the positions of class monitor and vice monitor are settled. Chao Xingen's expression became somewhat strange. He didn't actually intend to challenge Su Jintang. He simply believed his experience as class monitor made him a better fit for the position. Anyone who could achieve first place in the joint entrance exam, even with only auxiliary abilities, was certainly not simple. After thinking for a moment, Chao Xingen lowered his head and sat down. At this moment, a tall girl stood up. I want to challenge Su Jintang. Qin Shushua held her head high, a hint of arrogance flashing across her face. But I'm not here to compete for the class monitor position. I just want to have a friendly exchange with the top scorer in the joint entrance exam. Anyone who can get into Lexter's is a genius. And geniuses always have pride. She achieved an impressive 18th place in the overall joint entrance exam rankings, and considered herself quite capable. It was rare for Su Jintang, the top scorer in the joint entrance exam, to be in the same class as her, so naturally she wanted to test her skills. Wu Jinghong frowned and glanced at her. I said, we're electing a class monitor now. If you're not vying for class monitor, why are you standing up? If you want a challenge, discuss it yourselves after class. Don't waste class time. Qin Shushua's expression froze for a moment. Ah, yes. She sat down awkwardly, coughing lightly. Anyone else want to challenge? Wu Jinghong scanned the room again, and seeing no further objections, immediately announced, Class Monitor Su Jintang, Vice Class Monitor Shui Zhengqi. From now on you two will be responsible for all class affairs. Also, a reminder, Lakitas prohibits private fights among students. Any conflicts can be settled in the arena. Don't think you can challenge school rules just because you have some skills. Wu Jinghong looked at Su Jintang and Shui Zhengqi. You two can sit down now and get ready for class. Su Jintang looked away and sat down again. However, she could feel Qin Shushua's gaze glancing at her every now and then, looking eager to try. Looks like that girl has her eye on you. Shui Zhengqi leaned closer and teased in a low voice. Su Jintang shrugged. There's nothing I can do. It's just that I'm so outstanding. The first lesson mainly covered the school rules of Lectas and the usage conditions of various facilities, serving as a simple introduction for the new students. Near the end of class, Qin Shushua suddenly raised her hand and asked, Teacher, I heard that this year's freshmen can participate in the once every 5 years Military Academy League. Does that mean we all have a chance to participate in this election? Wu Jinghong glanced at her. The Military Academy League is indeed a major event. Each year, Lecta sends at least 2 5-person teams to participate. The specific selection details for this year haven't been announced yet, but according to past practice, support classes generally don't participate in this election, so you don't need to worry about it. Qin Shushua's voice revealed a hint of doubt. Why can't support classes participate in this election? Su Jintang also looked up. Wei Zixuan had mentioned the Military Academy League to her before. She also asked, Right, teacher, why can't our support class participate in this election? It's simple, Wu Jinghong's voice remained calm. 5 years from now, when the Military Academy League officially opens, your mental strength levels will have reached at least level 3, or even level 4. Support abilities after level 3 are simply not on the same level as combat abilities. Even if you participate in this election, support ability users have no chance of winning. Therefore, many years ago, various selection competitions and assessments within the Military Academy excluded support classes. During their studies, support class students do not need to participate in any selection competitions or assessments, and they do not face the risk of being eliminated at the bottom of other classes. As long as you train diligently, you graduate smoothly in 4 years and directly enter the Federation Army. The words echoed, and the students in the class fell silent. On the battlefield, support and logistics are indispensable parts of the army, and support-type ability users can maximize their effectiveness. However, in competitive matches, support-type ability users are often inconspicuous. The Military Academy League, a major event affecting honor and rankings, obviously wouldn't allow Rectas to send many support-type ability users to participate. Although everyone understood this, they still felt a little resentful. From the moment they awakened their support abilities, they were destined to be supporting characters. Even the usually jovial Shui Zhengqi became serious. Everyone says support abilities are weak, but this year's top 10 in the joint exam had 2 support-type ability users. Why is the school depriving our entire class of the qualification to participate in a selection like this? Other students, who had already voiced their complaints, agreed. Yes, our class monitor was still first in this year's joint exam. Even if other classes were strong, they didn't get first place. Qin Shushua frowned and nodded. Previously, support-type ability users were indeed weak, because support abilities offered virtually no boost to the user themselves. However, in recent years, more and more support-type ability users have begun to focus on training their physical strength, and can even utilize magical artifacts or runes to increase their combat power. We support-type ability users put in just as much effort as others, so why don't we even qualify to participate in this election? Su Jintang nodded seriously. That's right, everyone is correct. Initially, only a few students complained, but seeing Su Jintang nod, everyone immediately followed suit, banging on the tables. Yes, the class monitor is right. Within seconds, the entire classroom was filled with students standing up, displaying an unyielding stance. Wu Jinghong's previously stern face softened with a smile. Protesting to me is useless. These rules were set by the Military Academy leadership. If you want to qualify for this election, go find them. Teacher Wu Jinghong was always meticulous. The fact that she wasn't angry about the students' protest meant that she actually supported them? Su Jintang, understanding her meaning, quickly replied, Okay, I understand. Wu Jinghong crossed her arms, glanced at Su Jintang, and said, "Get out of class, dismissed." With that, she turned and left the classroom with a flourish. Everyone had been somewhat impulsive just now, but now that they had calmed down, they were starting to feel a little lost. Qin Shuxue stood up and walked to Su Jintang's side, her gaze questioning. "What do you plan to do?" Su Jintang shrugged. "Go find the military academy leaders, of course." Qin Shuxue coughed lightly. "Do you think the military academy leaders will listen to our protests?" She herself seemed a little unsure as she said this. The other students also looked over, their eyes filled with both expectation and trepidation. "Whether they listen or not, we only know after we go and talk to them." Su Jintang stood up, dusted off her sleeves, and glanced around. "Who's coming with me?" The few who had been shouting loudly earlier all immediately backed down. The military academy leaders were often 6th or 7th tier powerhouses. It was inevitable that everyone would feel intimidated. After looking around and seeing no one volunteer to stand up, Shui Zhongqi stood up, fanning himself. "Come on, I go with you." Su Jintang and his companion quickly left the classroom, heading towards the leadership office building. Watching their retreating figures, the other students exchanged silent glances, all secretly hoping for a response. At this moment, Chao Xing'an, who hadn't dared to speak until now, awkwardly touched his nose. He had to admit that Su Jintang and his companion were indeed more responsible than him and more suitable for the class monitor position. Upon arriving at the leadership office building, Shui Zhongqi quickly grabbed Su Jintang. "Are you really going to protest to the leadership?" Su Jintang hesitated. "What else?" Shui Zhongqi was immediately speechless. "This is Lexus. You don't really think a protest will make the leadership change the school rules, do you?" Su Jintang looked at him hesitantly. "Then why did you come out with me so aggressively just now?" "I had to give you some face. We're class monitor and vice monitor for the first time. We can't be too pathetic." Shui Zhongqi couldn't explain. Su Jintang looked away, gazing at the office building in front of her. "There's an old saying, since we're already here, let's go in and see." Su Jintang took the lead, stepping onto the stairs leading to the office building. At this moment, Zhuang Silin was discussing the selection of a 5-person team with other teachers. "The overall strength of this year's freshmen is quite good. This selection competition will definitely be very exciting," a teacher said with a smile. Zhuang Silin nodded. "If everyone has no objections, shall we proceed according to the newly formulated selection rules?" As a peak 7th tier expert, Zhuang Silin was not only a military academy instructor, but also the head of her grade, wielding considerable influence. Just as everyone was about to agree, a knock sounded at the door. A loud voice followed. "Teacher, I'm Su Jintang from the support class. I have something I'd like to ask you." Chapter 40. Zhuang Silin paused for half a second, then looked up at the door. "Come in." The door opened, and Su Jintang entered first, followed by Shui Zhongqi. Several teachers' curious gazes all fell on Su Jintang. "Is it because you were assigned to the support class that you came to see me?" Zhuang Silin leaned back in her chair, adjusting her posture. She knew that Su Jintang had been assigned to the support class. Although Su Jintang performed exceptionally well in the joint entrance exam, her support ability was unchangeable. No matter which military academy she went to, she could only be assigned to the support class. "No," Su Jintang said seriously, "I wanted to protest that our support class is not qualified to participate in the military academy league selection." As she spoke, she reached behind her back and tugged at Shui Zhongqi's sleeve. Shui Zhongqi forced a smile and nodded in agreement. "Yes, that's it." Zhuang Silin smiled and said, "The reason the support class isn't qualified to participate in the military academy league selection is that after reaching the 3rd rank, support type ability users are basically unable to defeat combat type ability users of the same rank. This rule is over 100 years old. It's not something I can change just because you protest." "You said it yourself. This is a rule from over 100 years ago. Times are changing, and we support type ability users are changing too." Su Jintang persisted. "I can't guarantee anything about what happens after the 3rd rank, but right now, we want to fight for a chance to participate in this election." Zhuang Silin crossed her arms and placed them on the table. "What do the other teachers think about this?" The surrounding teachers exchanged glances, all wearing helpless smiles. It's good that the students have this rebellious spirit. It proves they're ambitious. But school rules are school rules, and they can't be easily changed. Besides, even if they really want to change it, at least you need to prove first that, at the same level, support type ability users are no weaker than combat type ability users. Otherwise, no matter how much you argue, this rule won't be changed. One well-meaning teacher emphasized. Zhuang Silin nodded in agreement. If you want to break the rules, you have to demonstrate the strength to do so. The Military Academy League selection doesn't officially start for another 2 months. You can think carefully about how to prove it to me and the other teachers. Hearing this, Su Jintang could sense that these teachers were actually biased towards her. Otherwise, they would have flatly rejected her without giving her any chance. But how exactly to break the rules seemed to be something they had to figure out themselves. "Understood. Thank you for reminding me, teacher." Su Jintang nodded, turned, and left the room. Shui Zhongqi coughed lightly and quickly greeted the teachers. Thank you for your understanding, teachers. We be leaving now. Watching Su Jintang and the other student walk away, Zhuang Silin smiled and looked away. It's good to be young, you dare to say anything. The other teachers also laughed. Yes, when I first came to Rectas, I didn't dare utter a sound. However, what that student said earlier coincides with our thoughts. After this year's joint entrance exam results were released, more than 30 of the top 100 were auxiliary type ability users. This data is even more astonishing than before. Zhuang Silin nodded. Many formal competitions now allow the use of inscriptions and magical artifacts. This has indeed improved the self-protection ability of support type ability users. Combined with their own amplification abilities, their overall strength is not much weaker than combat type ability users. The teacher on the left showed some interest. We were originally planning to revise this rule anyway, but since she brought it up, let's see what kind of trouble their support class can cause. What are you planning to do next? After leaving the office building, Shui Zhengqi couldn't help but ask. Su Jintang pondered for a moment. I haven't decided yet. Shui Zhengqi immediately stumbled and turned around. Sister, who are you showing off your confidence and high spirits to just now? Of course, to the teachers. The battle hasn't even started yet, so I can't show weakness beforehand. Su Jintang said matter-of-factly. Everyone says school rules are hard to change, but this is about breaking the rules, so we need to think it over carefully. Su Jintang waved her hand. Let's eat first. I heard the food at the Rectus cafeteria is pretty good. Shui Zhongqi looked at her incredulously. At a time like this, you can still eat? I can't starve to death. With that, Su Jintang turned and walked towards the cafeteria. Shui Zhongqi sighed and rubbed his temples. That's true, we can't let this worry us to death. Wait for me, I'm going to eat too. He quickly chased after Su Jintang. During the holidays, the military academy cafeteria is closed, so Su Jintang has to eat out every day. Today, as soon as she stepped into the cafeteria, she smelled a rich aroma of food. Su Jintang rubbed her hands together expectantly as she approached the cafeteria window. The electronic menu displayed today's offerings: braised cartilage beast ribs, salt and pepper roasted white phoenix eggs, cold snow spirit grass salad. Each dish incorporated spiritual plants and demon beast meat and bones as ingredients, even specifying the enhancement effects each dish could provide. For example, long-term consumption of braised cartilage beast ribs could enhance physical strength. Cold snow spirit grass salad was suitable for ice attribute ability users, and so on. No wonder so many people want to eat Brother Long's meat, Su Jintang muttered softly, picking up her tray and going to the cafeteria window. Auntie, 1 serving of cold snow spirit grass salad, please. The cafeteria food was also charged, but the prices were very reasonable. Outside, a single snow spirit grass would cost 40 or 50 star coins, but in the cafeteria, a serving of cold snow spirit grass salad only cost 10 star coins. She ordered several more meat dishes, carrying her full tray, and turned to sit down at an empty table. Shui Zhongqi arrived shortly after. Save me a seat, okay? I be there after I get my food. Su Jintang sat down with her tray, picking up her chopsticks to eat. A familiar voice came from behind. Sister Jintang, you're eating in the cafeteria too. Wei Zixuan and Yuan Yao walked in from behind, carrying their trays. Seeing there were still empty seats, the two of them didn't stand on ceremony and sat down opposite her. After sitting down, Yuan Yao pursed her lips and looked up at Su Jintang. She seemed hesitant. Su Jintang finished chewing the cold snow spirit grass salad in her mouth. Just say what you want to say. Yuan Yao's expression became even more complicated. Your ability is really a support type? During the joint entrance exam, she and Su Jintang had fought off a riotous monster together. In her opinion, Su Jintang's close combat abilities were in no way inferior to any combat type ability user. However, it wasn't until today, when they were assigned to classes, that she realized Su Jintang had only awakened a support ability. Right now, it is indeed a support type ability, Su Jintang answered precisely. But the future is uncertain. Shui Zhongqi happened to finish buying food and came over. There was an empty seat left, so he immediately sat down with his tray. What are you talking about? Wei Zixuan chimed in. We were talking about Sister Jintang having a support ability. Shui Zhongqi sized up the two of them. What? You look down on support users? Yuan Yao gave him a disdainful look. You're one thing, but you're at least an inscription master. Your combat strength is definitely stronger than other support type ability users. Distracted by Shui Zhongqi's words, Yuan Yao didn't pursue the matter further and lowered her head to eat. The atmosphere at the table suddenly fell silent. Shui Zhongqi snapped open a folding fan that seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, straightened up, and began fanning himself. Hey class monitor, shouldn't we brainstorm ways to change the school rules? Wei Zixuan, always eager for a laugh, perked up his ears. Change the school rules? Yuan Yao also looked over. We could brainstorm. Su Jintang quickly recounted their protest to the teacher. Finally, She looked expectantly at Yuan Yao and Su Jintang. What suggestions do you have? Wei Zixuan and Yuan Yao fell silent. After a few seconds, Wei Zixuan chuckled dryly. You guys in the support class are really going this far? Challenging the school rules on the first day of school? Yuan Yao simply remained silent and continued eating. After a moment of silence, Wei Zixuan tentatively suggested, since the teacher didn't refute you, it proves there's room for maneuver. Didn't they say they wanted to prove that support abilities aren't weak in the same tier? Why not just have a fight? Shui Zhongqi hesitated before speaking, then. A duel in the arena? Yuan Yao objected. Support abilities have too little room to shine in an arena. If we want to highlight the power of support abilities, a simulated battlefield is more suitable. That makes sense. Su Jintang thoughtfully stroked his chin. Wei Zixuan then realized, wait, the support class is going to fight both of our classes, right? Why am I giving advice to the opponents? Shui Zhongqi smiled. You really have a broad perspective, Wei Di, big enough to offer suggestions to the opponents. Yuan Yao was speechless, quite disdainful of both of them, and continued eating. After leaving the cafeteria, Su Jintang felt warm all over. The meal, prepared with rare ingredients, was indeed extraordinary. After eating, she felt her energy and spirit significantly enhanced. After parting ways with Shui Zhongqi and the other two, Su Jintang hurried back to her dormitory. She closed the door, entered the cultivation room, and began meditating, circulating her spiritual energy. Normally, it took her about an hour to complete one cycle of spiritual energy, resulting in an increase of less than 1% in her spiritual energy. But today, she completed one cycle of spiritual energy in 50 minutes. After finishing her cultivation, Su Jintang gently exhaled a breath of stale air, slowly lowering her hands and placing them on her knees. No wonder it's the first military academy. Even the speed of my spiritual energy circulation has changed after just one meal. Su Jintang sighed to himself. The Ice Soul Dragon suddenly spoke up. The food you just ate was made with third-tier demonic beasts and spiritual plants of the same level. It certainly provides a significant boost to ability users below third tier, but the effect gradually diminishes after fourth tier. Su Jintang sighed. Forget third tier, I just want to know when I can reach second tier. Since arriving in the Federation Starfield, many of his peers were already second tier ability users. Even Wei Zixuan had reached the peak of first tier a few days ago, only needing to break through the bottleneck to reach second tier. At your current cultivation speed, you definitely reach second tier in another 6 months, the Ice Soul Dragon replied. Su Jintang's eyes widened. Another 6 months. Or, you could buy another bottle of Flood Dragon Essence Blood, which would also directly advance you to second tier. But continuous use of drugs for enhancement will weaken your foundation, and won't be very beneficial. Mentioning Flood Dragon Essence Blood, Su Jintang's mind was filled with thoughts of 380,000 star coins. She rested her hand on her temple. Forget it, I just stick to my cultivation. The Ice Soul Dragon added, once you reach the second tier, you'll be able to absorb at least 10% of the dragon blood power I stored within you. At that time, your strength will be at least equivalent to a third-tier ability user, no weaker than others. Okay. Su Jintang nodded, her expression becoming serious. It's only half a year, she can wait. After lunch break, Su Jintang left her dormitory and headed towards the teaching building. In the afternoon, she had a theory class taught by her homeroom teacher, Wu Jinghong, which she absolutely couldn't be late for. 2 minutes before class started, Su Jintang entered the classroom. Class, the results of our protest with the teacher are in. The teacher neither agreed nor refused, giving us some leeway. After discussing it with the vice class monitor, we decided to challenge the melee and ranged classes to duels to prove our support class's strength. What do you all think? It was almost time for class to start, and all the students were in the classroom. Everyone was shocked. Class monitor, you really went to protest to the teacher? Challenge the other two classes? Can we even beat them? Many of them are already second-tier ability users. They had indeed been angry and acted impulsively earlier. But when it came to actually challenging the other two classes, none of them were confident. Seeing the silent, heads bowed, Su Jintang spoke up. The reason the support class has always been at a disadvantage is because everyone has never competed. We be studying at Rectus for 4 more years. If we tolerate this now, we have to endure it for the next 4 years. Are you willing to do that? Qin Shuxue was the most arrogant person present. Hearing this, she immediately stood up. I'm not willing to tolerate it. Immediately afterward, 2 more students stood up. I don't want to endure this either. There are still 4 years to go. Are we supposed to keep putting up with it forever? Seeing more and more people standing up, Chao Xingyan also stood up and said in a loud voice, yes, the support class must rise. At this moment, Wu Jinghong, who was standing outside the classroom, smiled. Very good. Wu Jinghong walked into the classroom and stood on the podium. You are the first support class I taught. When the school leader sent me here, I was actually quite unhappy because in previous years, the support class was always the easiest to take advantage of, and anyone could step on it. I'm so glad you all showed me a different kind of class atmosphere today. Chao Xing'an looked excitedly at Wu Jinghong. Teacher, does that mean you help us? Wu Jinghong smiled slightly. Of course not. You yourselves wanted to challenge each other. As a teacher, I have no right to interfere in competition between students. Su Jintang coughed lightly. Judging from the homeroom teacher's tone, she thought she was also inspired and would offer advice, but it turned out she only offered verbal encouragement. Alright, since everyone agrees, the challenge to the other two classes is settled. Su Jintang summarized succinctly, then returned to her seat to prepare for class. Wu Jinghong's smile vanished instantly.